Angie.
Yeah, and I mean, it's going to be an interesting one. I think Gambit, I'm trying to think. I think they played Entropic here yesterday, last night, I believe. And I mean, Entropic are just owning everybody right now. It's actually so cool watching Entropic play. But Gambit plays, very well. They are a very solid team, very disciplined, really good at maximizing all the edges. Stylistically, I think this is a great matchup. I think it's an exciting one because, sure, we've got two teams that are from the CIS region, so they're quite familiar with how one another plays. But at the same time, it's that they're both really trying to optimize all of the edges and trying to minimize all of the any potential inefficiencies. So with these two teams, it's not the case that we're going to see something that's like extremely flashy and insane. Of course, all of the players on the server are capable of such things. The whole approach is, I think, a lot more kind of intense because it's just such a battle for every single edge. So I'm super excited to see this one. Gambit and VP. I want to say Gambit are going to win this one, James. On paper, that's what would make sense, but in reality, it could be very different indeed.
Yeah, you have to say Gambit should win this one, but Virtus, again, it's all about the matchups and styles and so on, and I think just these two teams and the regions they're from, the counter-strike is going to be very, very interesting indeed. It's great when you see a team like a Virtus Pro play like a Central European team or Western European team, because stylistically it's so painful to play against Virtus Pro, but Gambit, I think, are one team which is going to be more comfortable and maybe do something similar to Virtus Pro. So this is going to be a great map for the Orpers on the CT side as well. They're going to have lots of nice angles to play with. So I'm very interested to see. A little bit scared, though, because in this best of one, for sure, Gambit could find themselves in an awkward position if they lose it. But I'm excited and scared at the same time.
Yeah, it's going to be really, really cool to see. Unfortunately, it's actually just a best of one. It would be, I would love to see this in a best of three. Of course, we do have a best of three later on. And on the B stream, I do believe we'll be seeing EG.
Vitality EG.
Vitality EG, that's the one. Thank you very much. Vitality and EG, so that'll be our best of three on the B stream. But we are into our first best of one here today on the B stream. Virtus Pro versus Gambit. VP up on the defensive side. And we've got Gambit on their T side, looking to claim some space towards mid here.
Bueno, inicia la primera
But
ronda.
backing
Quiero
away,
chequear a
he
ver si se
heard the
escucha
tap.
bien.
Gets tapped himself. Actually has a teammate to play off of, but Gambit are going to be just making their way through to the B side
Arrancamos con la ronda de
and just completely
pistol
out-juking them here.
That's very unfortunate for Flit to wallbang, essentially. So close range, but with the USP, that penetration shot is not going to do enough damage, and that leaves you Kindara and Jane to think about their options.
Necesito que me digan si se escucha un poquito bien.
They've got Kevlar, which is untouched, so should they choose a Force Buy in the next round, they could get the cheap helmet if they don't take any damage.
Holdeando Shame.
But with 5 plays alive for Gambit, again, like
Vito
the
creo
helmet's
que está tocado.
350,
Todavía los chicos
kills 300.
de Gambit no ingresaron al
Which one would you
site
prefer?
y
That
Shane que
Kevlar's
conecta lo está
untouched now.
dejando
I mean, he doesn't
tocadísimo
have to
a
have a
nada
helmet
de
in the next
vida.
round. But if you're going to go up
Y
against
llega
Mac 10s and
Shane.
so on, then it can
Shane se
potentially
lleva la
make a difference.
baja de Hoyt.
Yeah, especially on this map, there's a lot of close range, and reasons why you would want to pick up the SMGs, especially going into the anti-eco. I'm going to see already a Mac 10 there on Nafany, so wouldn't be surprised to see another one or two. Not quite the Vega Squadron buys of the Mac 10.
Basta, gato. Tranquilo.
From days of old.
A ver, quiero chequear
But
cómo
we'll
se
see
escucha.
now, this is the anti-eco playing out. It's nothing really except this P250 for Yakindar, so we can't expect too much. A couple kills would be really great for them. There goes the run boost.
No está para nada mal. What? El boost inactivo.
Quite problematic for Axel there, almost went down, but did provide the distraction for Nafany to get the pickup. And they are working their way into
Samoli Kicker
surely the utility
lógica.
usage is
Están de eco
looking
los
very
chicos de
good,
Virtus.
claiming the space that they are looking for.
Trata de conectar un
And
par de balas.
overall, this
Axis
is going
está
according to plan
muy
here for
tocado.
Gambit.
Demasiado, pero demasiado tocado.
Bomb will be planted, and additional usage of utility there to make certain that that bomb will go down. And one kill there onto Shiro is something nice. Very close to the second, but not quite.
Y se
So,
llevan la ronda.
acceptable losses for Gambit. And now we go
Bastante
into
bien,
the
la
buy
verdad, hay
round.
que
AWP
reconocer
on Jane,
bastante bien las rondas de estos
as
chicos.
one would expect. And See Nafany holding on to the Mag-10. Would imagine that they would want to play a faster round here, or at least a prolonged assault perhaps onto that A site. Might be the order of the day here, we'll see.
Got the smoke on short from Hobbit. There are two variations of this smoke. So this one leaves this area exposed, where Yakindar is standing. The other one will cover it somewhat.
Vamos a ver a los chicos de Gambit lo que están haciendo.
There's no util really remaining on VP at this point. This is like one of the reasons why Gambit, if they play a slow round, should be able to maintain that util advantage for a strong finish.
Yeah, when there's an aggressive play on the ramp, that smoke you see bounced off the wall there by
Insisto en la ruta que está la M4 silenciada.
makes things more accessible, especially if somebody's peeking from that side position.
Inició también lo que es el partido de Face contra Copenhague.
And he may spot a leg here if he goes for a jiggle every so often.
Tenemos ahí las dos cámaras.
And I'm sure there are some
Y los
sound cues
partidos
here. Spots ahead. Good for two as Yakindar drops the bomb as well. That's some good
Qué
information.
linda baja que
Ever a
es
dangerous
Yakindar.
player for Virtus Pro.
Virtus Pro, la verdad, se está convirtiendo en mi equipo
Definitely be one to
favorito.
watch
Lo que
this
estoy
year, and it
viendo.
will be for next year as well, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's crazy. Lots of advantages for Gambit, but just that small individual play from Yakindar completely turns the tables, and now Gambit are in a lot of trouble. Yakindar looking to get more from this elevated position. Oh wow, he's doing a lot of damage.
Ese
That does go
spot ya se
down.
lo vimos en mapas
For
anteriores.
timing, coming in from the side alley.
Kicker,
See if he can find anything. The smoke
Kicker
goes
que
away.
está
The
fallando.
flashbangs actually keep him
Muy
protected,
adelantado,
and he'll take
lleva la
down
baja de
another one.
Axi.
So not really all that much left to be done here. Shiro
Inter que
and
está en
Interest,
site.
the best that they could do here is get some extra
Complicado
damage
para
at
el
the very
plan.
least. And
Dejó de
doesn't
virar
look like it's going to
corta.
be
Se
really
lo
on the
lleva
cards for
y
them.
Shiro tiene que
Shiro,
vaquear.
15 points
Y
of
los
health.
chicos de Gambit
He will be
están
backing away.
perdiendo la
Brilliant stuff
tercera
there from
ronda.
Yakindar.
Sí,
What a
bien
round.
vivo.
And I mean, I think
Y
it
se
was just
lleva la
agreed to
ronda,
because
la
you know,
primera para
Gambit, they wanted
Virtus,
VP to burn
donde
some
pueden respirar un
their
poquito,
utility
ya habían
early, and
comprado
then they
dos
just try to
rondas de
take ramp
eco,
for
la
cheap later on.
tercera
But
hizo
didn't factor
efecto.
in Yakindar, of course.
Así que vamos que se saludan.
Yeah, that's a early round on the board for Virtus Pro.
Vamos a ver cómo
I have no
continúa
idea who's going to
todo.
win this game. I have no idea.
It's very hard to predict. It really is. Again, VP, we can't really put it past them. The core of this
Están
lineup has
charlando los chicos de
a lot of
Gambit.
experience. They made the finals. at the
Complicado,
previous major.
Complicado porque,
Yeah.
bueno,
I don't think
probablemente
the same
ni
prediction in
piquen.
this best of one can be made, to be honest.
No,
Usa
not
las
at all.
dos.
Like, again, in terms of form and in terms of style matchups,
Y en la sección de lo que es Vitality,
the momentum of both these teams
la
is
realidad,
unpredictable.
Copenhague,
Very
Face,
nervous
Face,
viewing.
también. Literalmente los dos
Indeed,
me van a
indeed.
complicar el piquen, pero
It's
bueno,
going to be
vamos a ver cómo sale todo esto.
very interesting, you know, just in general here, because the level of competition is pretty damn high across so many teams, even though so many teams are also in flux at the same time. But we'll see the mids control coming through from Gambit initially. They've been enjoying putting pressure on that
Links,
position, not
joder, la
super
verdad, para
committed,
los
but
que
just
recién están
showing that
viendo,
presence, taking away some position and vision,
muy buenos spots.
just keeping Virtus Pro honest. And then around the 1 minute mark, we start to see, you know, greater efforts towards map control. And we can see A ramp might be the point of focus
Shane
here,
que
but with
está
Jame on the
hipeando
orb,
con la
ready
P,
for the flick, it's
va
looking
a
like
tener
it
que
could be quite
fliquear
scary
hermosamente,
Is there
o
going
hay
to be a
timing
flash
o hay
or
flip,
something?
una de dos.
to get Jame off
Los
of this
chicos de
angle.
Gambit,
Oh, it's
Asuma
just a
se
dry
lleva la
peek,
primera
and
baja y va.
Jame is ready for that.
Shekindar está ahí
Yeah,
también
these-
explotándose.
Well,
Ay, qué
especially
lástima
Jake
que se
really,
abrió
but
y
also that
tiene.
Shiro is going to
Ay,
be
lo
so strong
dejó
on
a
these
nada de
CT
vida.
angles with the AWP.
A nada de Axil.
Really hard to deal with him.
Axil
It's
vaquea
not a
10
frag
vidas
you can
tiene.
trade, really. And again, he just gets stuff turned around a little bit and reset the situation,
Se
and the
lleva
bomb has
Booster,
been
la
lost
vida de
now, which
Axil.
is going to cause
Kicker
massive
que cae por
problems.
Hobbit.
Man advantage for
En
Virtus
corta
Pro, but there are so
está
many issues for
Shane.
Gambit. They've got to go back
Booster
and
está en
collect that
site
bomb
B.
in order to
Cruzando,
fix this
Shiro.
situation. They can thin the numbers in the
Quiere
meantime, but
entrar
with 10
Shane,
seconds,
holdea.
I don't know if they're going to have a chance to plant this bomb. Doesn't quite look like it. 5
Lo
seconds, and I think
están
it's going to be too late
pushando
to make
por
it there.
arriba y Shiro
Yeah,
que
that's too
planta.
late.
Oh, that's so unfortunate. It is interesting
Pero
though. I
es
mean,
ronda para la
of course,
gente
only
de
Buster
Virtus.
survives.
I don't think it's unfortunate. I think it's good play.
What's that?
Virtus Pro.
Oh, very no, sure, no, but for Gambit, obviously, it's
Oh, yeah.
unfortunate.
It's unfortunate for sure.
Yeah, it's not to have enough time because they would have won the round, of course, otherwise. So, yeah. But in terms of what this does, you know, economically speaking, only Buster survived, so 4 players will have to rebuy. They got that, you know, sure, they got the round win bonus, but their money's not very good here, and they just won a round. So Gambit are set up nicely should they be able to win this, but they're on 2 pistols. We're going to see the aggression initially around ramp from VP again for that early control.
Qué lindas
And
bajas.
usually it's around the 1 minute mark
la
that we'll
verdad,
see Gambit
con ese
start to
M4
try
me
to
parece que encontró
take that
el celular en el
control
mundo,
again.
literalmente. No hay otro, no hay con qué darle.
That smoke down the ramp kind of reminds me of the smoke on A main of Cash in some ways, in that if you are, from a T perspective, you could stand on the lockers and look over it towards the quad position. But as you can see, Kindar's got to be careful. But, you know, from smoke to smoke, it can vary and have a little more gap, so one must be careful, especially if you're in an elevated position.
Bien holdean, están intentando inventar. Shane que se va a volver loco con ese AP. Están todos entrando para salir de la rampa. Va a tener que conectar la primera baja. Shane los está viendo. No, pero se lo llevan. Nafi, Shekindar que hace el tradeo, pero no a la misma persona. Están tratando de entrar en A. Shekindar está mirando corta. Ya están rotando los chicos del side B. No, que se pone directamente las balas de Hobby.
There as well, but again, really difficult position.
Están
Going to be charging forward.
totalmente desintegrados, pero Flick se lleva la primera baja en corta.
And didn't take, in fact, any damage there. Nafany able to make things a little bit more favorable once again for Gambit to hold this, but beautiful, beautiful play
lo
from
que
Flick.
hizo
Still keeps the chances
Flick,
alive in
se
this
llevó la herida del
situation.
Hobbit,
And it's
también
getting
está
even better.
apoyando, se
Flick
lleva
is
la
just
herida de
crushing this one.
Nafani,
Inters
y queda
is the
solamente
only person
Inters,
standing here.
2v1, planta, C4 está plantado.
Oh my goodness,
Y
Flick, how has he managed to just
la
own
ronda.
everybody? 4 kills.
Pobrecito Virtus.
Unreal.
Now that is a retake. Very strong stuff, Yakinda. I
Muy
thought maybe
buena
the round would
Virtus.
be close to
La
over, just
ejecutaron muy
left
bien.
alone on that A
¿Qué
bomb site,
pegó?
but the rest of the team come
Shekin.
through and secured a W.
Preguntémosle qué pegó Shekindar a mí.
I felt like it should have been over, James. I think the same thing with that previous round where Yukindo got the double. Like, if these A attacks look good, but then just the individual play is where the
Los
difference
chicos
is.
de
How do
Virtus
you
van
account for
bien. Gambit, Eneco,
Ramp smoke being deployed once
una de
again.
K. 4 techs, a ver cómo ejecutan esto. Shane, Shekindar está avanzando. ¿Tendrá el Calío? Se escucha, ya sabe que están todos ahí. Los está tratando de matar. De atrás se lo lleva y se lleva la vida de Shekindar. Pero hizo 2 bajas importantísimas.
Flick will cut the numbers yet more, making a 2 versus 5 from Gambit's perspective.
Flick que se lleva la vida de Giro, lo tiene en corta, pero sí, Nefani se lo folla a todos y Flick vuelve a matar.
But yeah, those Tech-9s, maybe we want to see more of those in the Deagles in
Ronda
the
4 para
rounds
2
to
a
come.
favor de Virtus.
Rounds and games matches to come.
Yeah, some good damage at
Qué
least.
locura, qué locura.
You know, that peak down to A ramp kind of reminds me of CPL Mill or Tuscan, like the mid. You know, for some reason, like this long ramp channel
Dan,
that is mid.
I need a moment of silence. Did that sound like refreshing?
Ahora los chicos de Gambit por lo menos pudieron comprar algo. Giro con la P.
I was talking about CPL
Shekindar que
Mill.
pushea. Walía un poquito, a ver si puede llevarse alguna bala.
I mean, so far, you know,
Hobbit
Gambit,
tiene un poco de vida, le quitaron.
they've been going
No,
at this somewhat
me molesta que
consistent
no
pace
se ven los
to
chalecos,
the B side of the
literalmente.
map to on the A
Yo
side of
que
the
sé
map.
mucho
Obviously,
de
sometimes they'll
las
open up
estadísticas con los
pressure
chalecos,
around
me
mid here,
molesta.
like you can see Hobbit throwing nades over, and then around 1 minute mark, they go up A ramp or try to. It's been somewhat consistent.
Están
And they've
completamente.
been set up pretty well for success. It's just, again, these individual plays. But Yakinda
Ay,
again
Shekindar,
could
ay,
find another
Shekindar,
individual moment,
no
but
vas
this
a
time,
morir, te
Nafany
agarran
is
por la
much
espalda.
deeper than he expected.
Están empecinados los chicos de Gambit en entrar al side B.
Jane with a very strong angle. He's ready for the flicks as well.
Shane
Kickert
se
has
llevó a
been
Nefani,
burned alive
Nefani
in
se
the
lleva a
meantime.
Kickert,
So
Shane
there are 3
vaquea,
plays remaining for Virtus Pro,
Flick
but again,
vaquea,
they have
3
the
para 3,
AWP. They can reset the
flashea side,
situations.
esmojea
The
side,
angles that James is posting
moría
up on.
side,
See if they can get the retake again. Shiro's on AWP as well.
C4
So
planting,
now the bomb has been planted.
y ahora van a
Virtus Pro
tratar
have lost
de
their angles.
jugar al
Shiro
retail.
for now will have the
Shane que
luxury
tira
of those,
smoke,
but
está
Jane will
esperando a
maybe
su
try and
compañero
take
para
an angle
rehabilitarlo
with
con
this
una
flashbang.
flash. Tira la flash. Tienen que intuir que están en corta. Se llevan a corta. Hobbit se fue. Tienen que estar, tiene que defusar.
really be... Oh no, the stick is coming. In fact, I don't think that they can stop this. The spray's gone in turns. Only able to get the one. And another round just stolen by VP. Stolen by Flit. Getting set up very nicely by his teammates. The retakes again. Looking really good so far. Gambit. They're going to be very disappointed.
4 para 2.
All about the smokes on that A bomb site, obscuring information. I don't know if they saw the player who was the meat shield, so if they didn't, but they got a kill through the smoke, then they can assume that he was the man defusing the bomb. So the fire stops. Those late smoke grenades very, very crucial on Vertigo.
Yeah, definitely. It's an interesting one because, again, as I mentioned, so far it feels like quite good for Gambit in terms of their approach. Their approach is pretty good. You know, they establish some map control, they establish some information, they establish some pressure, and they're coming into these A hits, and they've been able to get the bomb down. They've been able to get on the site, and they've had favorable moments. But again, it's just they're just unable to hold. The individual game so far is better from VP. And that's, of course, quite the scary prospect. So we'll have to see if there's any adjustments to be had here from Gambit's approach to break this up. Back on the buy.
Both these teams, 1 for 1, 1 win, 1 loss. So a loss here in his best of 1 would be very roughed up indeed. Great cover for James. You've got that rifle support there. So while James is trade frag, Flit will do one better and give Versus Pro a 4 versus 3 early. Minute 20 on the clock. And
Buster,
you see
que
Buster
juega,
just
Buster,
peeking,
que
trying to
mira,
find out
qué pasará,
if anyone's creeping. Gambit do like a shift walk,
Ay,
and
Buster,
again, all that information seeking.
Kicker
We'll
está
get
en
him
el
some
humo.
information, but in the worst way. Numbers are tied now, and there's still a minute on the clock for Gambit, which is a world of time with a
Y
team
es hora
such
de
as this.
vaquear.
Flit's creeping. He might get a nasty flank here. Really good timing, possibly. I wonder if those sound cues we heard. Yes, indeed. Nafany's holding for this. Should be able to win the battle against Flit.
Kika
Indeed,
se va
but
a
the flank is
encontrar.
coming
Oh,
through.
Nafany.
Kika trades it out.
Mataste a Flip, pero te lo llevas.
Kindar.
Shekindar con el lápiz se lo baja a Axi.
One
Giro,
more as well.
Shekindar.
This makes things
2 de
very
1.
difficult here
A
for
favor
Shiro
de
without
Virtus
anybody
Pro.
to really cover.
Es muy probable que Giro
Doesn't have
guarde.
the
Tiene
bomb in
mucho
hand,
tiempo,
so
35
Shiro
segundos.
looking to walk all the way
Tiene
back
también
here
el C4.
to the 8
Que
side.
vamos
This
a ver
may be the
cómo
move. It
gestiona lo
seems
que
as
se está
though,
jugando.
at least for now, VP are focused still on that B position.
Such a long way. We'll see if he shift walks all the way, or if he's convinced
Sí,
that someone else
Kindar
could
está
be there. But we
podrida.
can see Kika making his way back towards the A bomb site. So then, how will the bomb be planted? I can't see how he plants the bomb without getting a kill first. 9 seconds now, and he has to start running straight into the hands of Kika. He's got the Molotov in the, well, almost the right place. Bounces though, and surely it's a free kill for
Y
Kika.
anda nomás.
Surely! Well, he's
Le
got
erra.
the bomb. Oh, no! Can't be serious!
Kicker, por el
How
amor
on
a
earth has he
Jesús.
missed that? That is
Kicker,
a
¿qué
massive whip from
hiciste?
Kika. And now Shiro's got angles for days,
¿Qué
all versus all, but he
hiciste,
has
Kicker?
superior
¿Qué
position.
hiciste?
I can't believe he's alive.
Kicker,
Oh
de
no,
mi
he's
vida.
won it. He's absolutely done them in. I can't
No puedo
believe
plantar.
it.
No,
James.
qué lástima, qué lástima. qué
Kiker's face
lástima,
has
qué
to be
lástima,
red
qué
as a
lástima.
tomato right now.
Mucha
My
lástima
lord.
esa
Okay,
ronda,
I've
por
got
favor.
some really regrettable
Shiro.
highlights in Counter-Strike,
Fue
let's
Fue
say,
error de
no,
Kicker
but that's
total.
worse than most of
Total
those.
error de
Oh wow,
Kicker.
you've called it. Worse than the Bardolph moment. Yet to frag.
Ahora los chicos de Virtus Pro
Uf,
van con
that
Nico
is
Furiosa.
so
Y es lo que
awkward.
tiene que ir.
As I used to say, Dan,
Solamente Shen
it's,
está con chaleco
that's
y
more
no se
levels of
seca.
awkward than
Hay
DDK in an
deals,
elevator.
hay USP.
Oh, usually you go with like the club or something, but well,
Nuevamente
that's
investigar
crazy,
cómo
and
gestionan
that's
estas rondas.
broken their money as well.
Qué
So
lástima,
that it's
qué
just had the
lástima.
worst outcome. And
Buster que
you know,
holdea.
if I feel like it would only make sense now, you know, Sod's law, that this is how Gambit come back.
Vamos a imitar a
It's
gente.
broken them.
A ver
It's
si
because
alguien
yeah, exactly.
viene.
It's broken their money, it's broken their spirits, it's broken their backs.
Okay, here's redemption though. Redemption arc possible if Kika is able to just tap everybody's faces off with the deagle.
It's not happening.
It's
The Deagle's dead. I'm telling you, unless your name's Nico, or we can add Breeze there as well,
Yeah.
or Simple. The Deagle's dead, man. It's about to Tech 9 now. And maybe the 5-7. We'll see. 5-7/CZ.
Here he goes. Oh, there we go. That's what I'm saying.
lindo,
That
we
is
can
what
add
I'm saying.
Kicker.
We can add Kicker to that list as well.
He's got the AWP, James. He's good to go.
Well, position has been taken by Virtus Pro. They are still looking for their first kill now, and you know that position's been taken by Gambit, I meant to say, on the B bomb site. They haven't got their first kill just yet, though. But I'm sure Yakindar's saving.
C4 preguntaba
James, like,
de
you
Bambi,
better get
de
away
tus
from this
pros que va a
situation.
tratar de jugar el retail. Yakindar tiene una
Give
T.
it to me. I know what to do with
Está
it.
muy tocado, 5 para 4 y se lleva la vida de Booster.
Okay, one thing I was going to say earlier
Haciendo
was
un lindo Gea.
there was a change in the game recently
que
where if you die by headshot, then your kill cam is shorter.
Kicker
So
se
you
lo
get that
lleva.
information.
Se lo lleva también Kicker.
Okay.
Nefani quiere buscar la kill
he's
y la
actually got
encuentra
3 kills out of
Nefani.
it. He's secured an AWP for his team. He did
Locura,
I mean,
That is a redemption arc.
that is yeah.
He's made up for it.
That is as good as you could expect. I feel like I'm actually. I think we got to give it to him there. For that. It's good effort.
So if you're fragged by getting headshot, your kill cam is shorter, so you have less information.
Oh yes.
But I'm interested to see like what the
¿Qué estarán diciendo, no? ¿Qué estarán pensando?
how the players, what their experience is with that change, like how much shorter they feel like it is, etc. If it's notable.
Man, I feel like the coaches now are basically cardboard cutouts at this point.
Yeah,
So that's what
they're
Valve.
mannequins.
That's what Valve are asking for.
They're mannequins. People are, you know, I think the knee-jerk reaction was to shout at Valve for it, but I don't think it's Valve's fault, man. They're just trying to keep the integrity up, and we have idiots who keep trying to bring it down.
True. Yakindar, you can't just be standing out there for free, spraying away.
Muy buena.
He's not having
La de
that. The
Kicker.
punch comes through.
Kicker,
Kicker
ahora que está
knows
viniendo
he
ya
has to
está,
get
ya está
something
caliado.
really before they
Ya está
come in and
caliado,
start scaling onto
tiene
the
que tener
site.
tranquilidad. Jane
Holding
está
on
con
to
el
the
Aupi,
inside alley
se
there,
le
and that's a
asoma
beautiful
Kicker,
one
lo
for Kicker
valía,
to fall
sabe
back
que
to
vienen por
safety.
rampa.
Again, has Jane
Está
covering
más
side
que
alley. Jane might in fact go for a play here. Kicker could
caliado
support
para saber
with the
quién
flash
va a
that he
entrar,
has.
quién no va a entrar. Kicker que
There goes the
asoma la
flash.
cabeza para
That's
ver,
for Jane.
tira una flashea y
He's actually
Jane
gonna
que no
retreat,
conecta
though.
lo que es el
And that
disparo,
timing to
pero
escape. We have a third man here
para
as well now,
asegurarse
Flit with full
de
grenade.
que no lo van a matar.
Is in
Nefani
position.
retrocede, Jane
Gambit
vuelve a clavar
continues to
mira
creep.
con la P,
This is going to be
siente
a
que lo
big
están
explosive
disparando,
fight,
vuelve
or
a
is
tirar
it?
una gueto, se
Shira gets
reparten
picked
las
off.
utilidades,
So
está
things
todo
become more
tenso en el
difficult for
CDA,
Gambit,
3
and
para
Anthony's
4,
starting
asoma
to
Nefani,
wonder what
Nefani
he can
flip,
do up here once again.
retrocede,
But he's
Axi
not
que
being
está
given anything, they're not
holdeando
making it easy,
Inters
they're
y
not giving him
Nefani
those
que me parece que
fast
van a
pre-fire
plantearse lo
headshot
que es un
positions.
paqueo
He is
para el
being
side
denied.
B. Inter que está tratando de comer con Héctor. Nefani
Only less
retrocede
than 30
haciendo un poco
seconds
de
now
ruido.
for Gambit to get onto a site.
Inter que
Through
quiere
mid. This is
lurkear.
a struggle. 3 players here on
Se puede
this
llevar la kill.
site.
Se
And
lleva la kill. No, no, no.
so
no,
the
no, no, no.
defense
3
is
para 2,
looking
3
pretty
para 2.
good once again.
Nefani ya
Nafany
sabe
coming
que
around
está
the
ahí,
corner.
pero
This is
tiene la
a
bomba
huge
dropeada.
series of engagements for Nafany. He's going to have to go absolutely wild here. There's
Es
no
el
time
único
for
que
this. Has to
queda.
get all the kills.
Se
There's
lleva
one,
uno.
but the best that can be done at this
Guarda la
point is to
P.
save this AWP.
Y no tienen tiempo.
And
Esto va a ser
exactly
ronda
what's going
para
to happen.
Virtus Pro.
Or is it? Because there's a
Bien
CT to
gestionado
his
por
right
los
hand
chicos de
side.
Virtus.
Oh, just had 2 bullets fired, but
he's all right.
he'll hold on to it for now. Taken away from James. We'll see if anybody's got the money for it. Man, best of 1 Vertigo. I am entertained. Again, if you are just joining us, if you didn't see all of yesterday's action, our first 2 games today on the B stream are 1-1 matches. Gambit versus
Era una
Pro,
cosa técnica, no me
Astralis versus Heroic to come as our second match of the day. Nobody wants to go 1-2. This stage, the legend stage, is certainly a slaughterhouse, man. It was so hard to pick who was going to go through.
Mientras tanto,
And of course,
los invito,
you can make
si es que
all the
hay
picks that
alguien
make
que
sense,
me
but
diga
there are going to be
hola,
some
sí,
upsets.
estoy acá,
Vitality currently 0-2. They will be our third match of the day,
para
playing
saber más.
EG for elimination. Maybe it's getting the best draw based on what we've seen so far, but it's time for them to perform.
Yeah. They must perform. Again, some spray from Yakindar through the smoke. This time he's got
En
Key cut there
Instagram
to keep
tengo mi
him
Twitch.
alive.
Tengo que tener mi Twitch.
But again, you know, we could expect likely a similar timing from Gambit. Just hold until the 1 minute mark, hold all positions.
And just a few weeks ago, we had just a few players, or a little more than a few players, who would be playing with the Silence M4, but now almost all the spam through smokes and so on is Silence M4 spam.
Yeah.
Which I'm just not used to just yet, you know? I'm just used to hearing more wrestle from M4A4s, and we still have some M4A4 players there, but certainly this is the favourite child at present. A pop flash for Yakindar, the smoke is still there, no one creeping through it on this occasion.
Ronda 11. A ver quién puede sacar un poquitito de
It's getting
ventaja,
close,
¿no?
but they are
Ay,
ready for it.
James, te
Kindle's going to drop the
llevaste
incendiary. He's going to
una
fight with it,
bala
actually, which
en el
is
pecho de
pretty smart here,
Hobby.
but they are trying to pursue him.
Shekindar,
Kindle's able
pero
to fall
Nefani está
safely onto
tocado.
the side. Blitz
Hobby,
there
a
again.
ver,
So they've
tocado.
delayed this pretty nicely for the rotation. Yakindar's out there,
Hobby
and
que
they are
muere
going to be
en manos
decimating
de
the push
Flip.
once again. They are getting ahead of it,
Está
and
mirando a
VP
Nefani, pero
are looking
Shekindar
super
muere por
comfortable.
Nefani, perdió la vista.
Shiro spots one to the
3
right.
para 2, pero Nefani
Void
está
to
más que
flashbang.
tocado,
Anthony
así
holding an angle
que
with
no
12
sé qué tan
HP.
3 para 2 es.
They know one's on the left. Buster coming through from the back. Down goes Kicker. Buster needs to get his skates on. They know Flit's in the corner, and he doesn't really have any help, so you may have to just look for a swing
Flip, que si
eventually.
se llega a abrir se va a comer
Shiro
esa
holding
P
the angle
y
now.
se
The
la
bomb can
comió
soon get planted, but Buster
tranquilamente.
might find
De
two
un
if
3
he's
para
fast
2
enough. He is
terminaron
just around the
yendo
corner,
un 1
and there are so
para
many
2.
angles to
Se
follow.
termina muriendo Nefani.
Shiro,
Queda
93 HP,
Shiro
switched up for the
totalmente
M4.
con
Knows
vida.
where he is now, trying to hold an off angle.
Tiene esa,
So you can see
esa
both jiggling
M4
now. Buster
Shiro
has the
y se
angle, but
termina
Shiro has
llevando
the
la
kill.
ronda.
And that will be a
Buster
5th
muere
round
en
for
manos de
Gambit.
Shiro.
Yeah, well
Muchos
played.
balazos en el pecho.
I mean, Virtus Pro were hanging on by a thread. They looked obviously quite good initially to win that round with that initial hold, but Shiro with the really awesome AWP just creep through the site, clearing those positions, really made a great difference. And that breaks the economy here for VP. And so the difficulty that's happened with Keycut, you know, just those few rounds ago, now we're starting to see the impacts of that because, you know, all the money's gone. And, you know, finally Gambit are looking poised to take over the half, and they absolutely can.
That last round was so awkward for Hobbit, when I think it was Yakinda who threw the incendiary down. Hobbit didn't pursue because he would have had to stand and take a fight standing in a Molotov, which is a really bad situation. Climbed over the sandbags, ended up touching the late Molotov, which does more damage, ended up on 50 HP, went around the corner of the ramp, got hit by a grenade and then shot. So before he could really engage somebody, he had like 23 HP or something like that. So a difficult round.
Ay, qué lástima,
a rare
no
miss from
conectó
Shiro.
Shiro.
That surely should have landed,
No
but
conectó Shiro, pero
this
tiene la
occasion he was
info.
denied. They are up against pistols though, but we can see what Kickert. We have seen what Kickert could do with a Desert Eagle. On this occasion, it will be Yakinda with the Deagle.
Axi que se lleva la vida de Booster con esa Galil. Hobbit que está boosting en medio, se asoman y termina muriendo. Esta eco fue muy complicada.
Generally, I mean, they're a team that's generally quite good at playing
tranquilamente,
super
es lo que
disciplined
tiene que
and
hacer.
effective
Y esperar a que
anti-ecos.
se asume alguien con esa línea.
I'll never forget
USP
the errors
hermosa.
in the
Hermosa,
time in
hermosa,
Counter-Strike.
hermosa.
It felt like it lasted forever, where
Va
even the most
acercándose.
elite teams in the top 8 were
Va a ver
just
si puede
not
hacer una baja.
putting the effort into maximizing
asoma
their edges on
lentamente.
anti-ecos, and there would be like
Para
slip
ver
ups
si
all the
alguien
time.
viene. Estar al
And,
acecho
you
y
know,
poder matarlos.
I would say for the last 3 years or so,
Esto va a ser
we've
ronda
seen
para
a
el
much
chico de
greater
Gambit.
level
Virtus Pro 6. Gambit 6.
with all of those small details.
Muy lindas, pero demasiado lindas.
It's like the
Se
professionalism
animará
continue to
a
grow
llegar en
and
una baja.
improve in Counter-Strike.
Lamentablemente no. Y se termina llevando la ronda los chicos de Gambit.
6-6, all tied up. Kind of want to see a replay of that Keycut moment. Give me the drama.
I
Miren
love
las
the depth of
estadísticas.
the landscape around on Vertigo.
Crit tiene 11 kills. Acá ya
Very
pueden
unique
comprar
map.
todos
I
con
hate this
M4.
garden
Todos
chest, though.
completamente con M4. Todos con
Absolutely
chaleco
horrible.
y con un par de utilidades.
Fittingly so for a building site.
Es importante
6
para
to
ver cómo
6 now.
pueden
See
gestionar
who
estas
can take the
cosas.
late lead in the first half. And again, we'll have these smokes out.
Shootea a Shekindar
Forward smoke from
para
the
ver si
team.
puede
They
llevarse
could
alguna
push
baja.
through the side. And that might bait some grenades out at the very least from these CTs early on. You can see a HE being thrown. And it'll be mostly smokes and flashes for Virtus Pro. A re-smoke off the ramp to burn some time. As we head towards the 1
Shekindar se
minute
llevó un
20
poco
mark.
de daño con esa veto.
Lots of focus here on Yakinda, you know, over a lot of these rounds, just because he's been that point man for the defense around the A ramp, and that's been such a point of focus here for Gambit. Again, we're getting to the 1 minute mark, and Gambit starting to move on that A ramp position, but this time it's more of a they're offering pressure,
Mientras tanto,
and
en
they
el otro
constantly
partido
attack this side of the map, but they're
están
actually
jugando
going towards B at the moment.
los
So see if
chicos
Nafany can create this distraction. It seems like there's already a
de
rotation, there's already the
Copenhague y
realization
Face
that it's
que
going to be an A
Copenhague
here.
va
So Nafany's on
7-5.
that lurk, but can they deny the entry
Así
here?
que,
I don't know that they
por lo
can. It's
pronto,
looking
creo
quite
que
strong
va a
on
dar la
B
sorpresa.
right now.
Yo lo
Flip,
puse en mi pique,
backside,
así
6
que
HP.
espero que den
Can
la
he keep
sorpresa.
himself alive? Absolutely, Yakindar swings in from the
Oh.
side. And now there's very little to
Están
work with, but
jugando muy
Nafany with
bien.
that lurk through that A site.
Muy bien.
Prove
Recordemos que son los
to be the
partidos del
winning
1-1, ¿eh?
Yeah, they haven't seen Nafany, so they know
Los
that
matches
they
que
could be
quedaron
compromised.
1-1 son
However,
estos.
you can see James is on the way. He will be deleted,
que
and Nafany will have to give up some map control to hold with his teammate. Such a key frag for Hobbit, the bomb carrier with Vikindar coming in from the back. If he loses that, they lose the round. And they still have time to lose the round, but Flit with 6 HP has got to be careful. The crowd speak from Flit is huge. Oh, 180 from Hobbit. Even better. 7-6 for Gambit.
Para llevarse el 7-6.
Damn, that transfer was beautiful from Hobbit. I wasn't expecting him to win that. He's of course fortunate that I believe it was Flit coming in, has such low HP, but at the same time, what a huge swing from Hobbit to finish that one off.
Vamos a ver la replay.
Beautiful.
And also kind of crazy, you know, Nafany, how he was able to kind of lurk in, because there were like 3 players on the side. Nafany was just creeping up side alley and manages to find his way through spawn. And that's a huge round to win it. Again, puts Virtus Pro on pistols. That round may just give Gambit that 9-6, but we'll hold that thought here for the moment, because you have a Buster with that P250 playing around the smoke. You never know. You never know.
Tendría que pasar,
Is he going to be able to find anything here?
Aunque me da un poco lo mismo, pero...
It's not looking likely anymore.
Best gun in the game. P250.
Ahora están jugando todos los del 1. Los del 1-1 están jugando.
It's honest. It pays for itself.
If you get a kill with it, at least. But yeah, probably for cost, might be one of the best guns in the game.
It's the best gun in the game, Dan. It's the best.
Alright.
Kickert has a Desert Eagle. Again. Only Deagles remain now.
Qué locura que es la Major.
The remainder of Virtus Pro.
De verdad puede tener cualquier emoción.
5 players. So Gambit look to pull towards 8 rounds at least in their first half versus the likes of Virtus Pro. Second half pistol will be interesting, and if they could land that, assuming they take a lead into this, then things could get very interesting indeed. So we'll see what Virtus Pro have to offer for the last round of this half. Let us know at home who you think is going to take this one, who you've put for your pick'ems. Who's your 3-0 and your 0-3? We've got NIP versus Na'Vi coming up later on. I picked NIP. No, did I? No, I put G2 actually for my 3-0.
Yeah, I put CPH Flames originally, but then I swapped to FaZe, and I regret it now. Because CPH Flames are...
They 1-1.
They 1-1?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought they were 2-0 for some reason.
Entropic, G2, Na'Vi, and NIP are 2-0.
Entropic would have been a really good 3-0 pick.
Yeah, I fancy G2 in that matchup.
Cómo defiende Jetty lo que es
We'll
rampa,
have to see that later on. For now, we've got to focus on this.
Ese
The
spot
last
en la
round of the
caja
first
es
half is
hermoso.
upon us. James has the AWP once again. And it's a slow start once more. Again, you've got to respect those smokes. Or do you? Perhaps you don't.
There's a good initial pick around mids onto Hobbit, and James going to make it worse here. Oh, they are stopping the push before it can even make its way up the ramp. Axel going for a desperation push towards that B site. And it is certainly looking difficult right now. They're just going to have to force the issue at this point. Rotation coming through. There's, of course, still everybody left alive on the defense for VP.
Yeah, 2 versus 5. They have the bomb. CT spawn smoke. Try and cut off the rotation coming through, if I'm not mistaken. 30 seconds now, and there's a full rotation coming in towards the B bomb site.
Ahora creo
this.
que estoy...
Buster just waiting in the smoke, and it's Inters versus 4 not happening on this occasion. So just one round between the 2 squads. A thin lead at halftime for Gambit.
Yes, and it's really crazy because it could have been a much better scoreline. You know, if that Kika moment when the plant had to come in and Kika, with some of those shots, and it ended up being a victory for Gambit. That moment, we mentioned it then. That's like the comeback moment, and it was. It was. Gambit managed to get loads of rounds off of that and ended up winning the half. So VP are probably not going to feel too good about that, but of course...
You don't say a thing. You say nothing.
of course, it's going to be interesting to see how the dynamic changes as the sides switch. Gambit had a really slow approach, but quite consistent and predictable.
Última ronda.
On that T side, we'll
Es la
see what
última
VP
ronda,
have to offer here.
Disculpen, es la ronda de pistol.
No respect shown.
Perdón. Los primeros casteos se me van a complicar un poquito, verdaderamente.
Looking for a one and done spot, can fall back if he needs to. Looking for a boost as time continues on. He'll get the sound cues at the very least. They know there are 2+ players in mid. Looking to head towards the A bomb site, but that is a counter smoke from the CTs. Very nice indeed. Kicker needs to be dealt with by Exile, but Hobbit is dealing with everybody else. Major champion Hobbit. How about this? 4 players can buy the cheap helmet right now in the next round. James creeping away from mid. May have seen some of Hobbit. There's a first kill for him. He still has a minute on the clock here, so he'll take his time. Now, depending on position, I'm having Exile have a look to try and get that armor up. So indeed, okay, Shiro takes 10 damage. So Nafany and Inters will get the cheap helmet. So sorry, Inters has no Kevlar. So Nafany alone gets the cheap helmet. If it was more players, like, it makes a hell of a difference if they go for those M4s, but it seems he will prioritize utility and take an MP9. Yeah,
this was a good example, kind of like you say, of Gambit slowing down that push and kind of putting it into a place of stuckness. That defensive smoke, like you say, just forced VP. They had no choice but to really push that at that point. So we'll see, what the MP9s will yield in this round against VP. Should be a pretty clean round. There's nothing really invested here, of course, by VP. So Gambit, they're looking great going into this second half. It's early, but the pistol victory is obviously a big deal, and VP are just waiting it out.
Yeah, we will have a buy from Versus Pro next round, as we can see. The AK-47s will be coming out. Just chilling in the meantime. You can see Shiro with the Talon fade. You had a Talon, didn't you?
Don't remember. Don't remember. I do think it's cool that Gambit are not really throwing their utility, because VP is waiting to kind of just force them to burn it, but they're not doing it.
Yeah, it's very true.
¿Cómo va? ¿Todo bien? Buenas. Hola, Maris.
Again, they're trying to get the most out of what they have, which is nothing. Lots of people running on the ramp, trying to find those Molotovs and so on, because eventually they will make a push, and when that comes, they want to be fighting against less. Ikenda will have to drop the bomb by force, and this is being handily dealt with by Gambit. Not overextending now, if they've only got 1 player left, and they will peek and delete. Very good round for Gambit. Again, didn't play too close. They put the numbers together, gave themselves plenty of cover, and have no losses in that round.
The instructions are being relayed. But yeah, everything going to plan. Gambit will be able to bring out the AWP straight away if they would like to do that. But they don't need to. It's a very close range map. They're going to hold on to pretty much everything. So a super strong bonus here from Gambit. We'll see what they can get out of this, because if they win this round, they're going to be really far ahead. Oh man, they're going to be really far ahead. Unless VP do damage at least. VP are trying to pressure that mid position. They're trying to sneak their way through.
I love this matchup because of the pace, because of the shift walking, because of the lack of information, and how this is so uncomfortable for CT sides, especially the longer it goes on, the info you don't have. Like, we could see Gambit have got 4 players towards A at the moment, but they don't really know where Versus Pro are, and this style of Counter-Strike is so stimulating to watch in terms of how the CT side deal with it, choosing the right pushes, having a great idea as to when it might be the right time to make a play. Very dangerous stuff. And you can see there's a cheeky peek there from Nafany. I think he maybe saw 1, maybe 2 players. There are actually 3 on the ramp. So that'll keep them with a focus towards the A bomb site, but they've left mid completely open. And I think the bomb might be rotating away, actually. So they've ended up being outmaneuvered, but Axel has a clue. As we see mid players trying to make a play into the B bomb
Chicos,
site. Shiro spots Buster, chooses not to
Buster
engage in the
trata
mid
de
position.
llevarse la baja de Hobbit y se la lleva nomás.
Finally, a couple of frags
Axel que
coming
está
the way of
busteado.
VP. Axel's in a good spot
Está
there. Will
tratando
get
de
his
entrar, se está
full advantage
llevando,
now.
no, pero no puede
It's
Axi.
taken
Shiro
out.
que se lo lleva a
Anthony and
Jekyll.
Shiro remaining. Shiro though,
Terminó
really forward
plantando.
position.
Buster que
It's
tiene
causing
un 2 para
problems.
1
The ball's taking away.
complicadísimo.
Buster coming in
Están
from the mid.
defusando. No.
We'll get the drop
Pero
down.
se la lleva
Shiro,
Shiro
what a
y
shot with the
defusa.
AK.
Y esto es GG para
Anthony
los
was
chicos de
nowhere near the
Virtus.
action. Shiro
Y
did
GG
it
para
all.
los
What a
chicos de
player.
Virtus porque se llevan el
And
evento.
that's a huge one to win. We mentioned it, that Gambit didn't invest in that round, really. They kept a couple farmers from the previous round and the 3 MP9s, I believe it was. And they're going to leave this round with only 2 surviving, but they both upgraded to AKs. So huge win, huge win for Gambit.
De
That was
Face
a really
y
interesting
Copenhague. Copenhague que se
constant
está
focus
llevando
on
un
the A
2
bomb
y
site.
6. Muy
Spotting
bien Copenhague.
1, maybe 2 players on the ramp. Those are 2 huge frags from Buster though. Mid
Copenhague
completely
llevándose
abandoned.
el 3-0 y
Able to
ahora
rotate into the
un
B bomb site
parcial
despite the
2-1.
lone player there getting the first kill.
Por ahora no
But
está
still
nada
we see
dicho, pero
Gambit
por ahora 2-1
retake,
en la ronda
control,
19.
defuse,
Bueno, la ronda
and move
20.
to 11. Wasn't the cheapest round for them, however.
13.
And that bomb plot's going to
Se está
allow
decantando,
Virtus Pro to force up. They are 4 rounds behind at the moment, and they're not looking to extend that deficit.
Giro.
Yeah, they're going to have to
Está
full send it
llevándose
most
un par
likely
de
after these
disparos.
smokes dissipate. They themselves have 2 smokes and a Molotov. So
Lo
they're
vio,
going to have to
tiene
use the
contacto.
numbers. They're going to have to use the pace to get
Sabe que
onto
lo
the
van a
site.
apoyar.
And that's a good
Giro
start.
viene Fanny.
You know,
Se va
already
Giro.
Shiro's going to go
Y
down.
Fanny tira
The
la
advantage
Molly.
that this had with the
Kicker que
CTs is
avanza.
utility.
Kicker
They
que
may
quiere
not
entrar.
necessarily
Fanny que
realize
se
that
va
that is
vaqueando para
their
side.
operating
Están
advantage.
entrando los chicos de Virtus para el sector de B. Axi que está apoyando rampa
As
de
you
B.
will
Hobbit
have
que se
you'd have
bustea.
so much success
Quiere
playing
tratar
retake with
de tener
such a
todo el control de
massive
la
nade advantage,
rampa.
but
Kicker que no ve. Que se está
VP, 5
busteando.
versus 4,
Nefani.
they're slowly
Entran directamente lo que
gaining
es al
control on this
side
A site.
Quieren pushar, corta, no lo ve, no tiene caleo, Jane que se cuida
cut
para
the
las
pace.
espaldas, Shiro
We
que
can see the
tira
bomb is
una
waiting
molly,
as well.
Nefani que lo
Is he
caza,
going to be
no sabe
expecting
que hay
Kicker?
otra
Is he going
corta,
to move forward
tiene
and
la
give them
info
a
de que
free
está
kill? You can
busqueado
see
en
Kicker
caja
starting
roja,
to creep now.
pushea,
But Nafany's been playing safe. Molotov is
pushea
on the way
Jane,
and he'll
no,
stand
Jane
his
no, se
ground
comió
and
la molly,
deliver that second
se
kill.
comió la molly de
But
Kicker,
where is the bomb-headed flit
Flit
again,
que entra
opening on
B,
the B
sabe
bomb
que
site
tiene
this
más,
time? Exile
tiene
still
más,
here though, but
están
he has
entrando
no
lo que es
cover
el 6 de
from
B, se
CT or
llevan,
from the
entran
stairs.
tranquilamente,
Nafany creeping, but
3
Buster has
contra
the off
2,
angle, gets his bell
3
rung, but
contra
he is
1,
alive.
Hobbit
That is
queda
a
solo,
huge
tiene
frag. It makes it a
focusado y
3
Hobbit no
versus
puede
1
hacer
instead of a
nada,
2 versus
a
2.
menos que tire una molly
HE's
o
to
un
be
deto,
deployed now,
deto
still
a la
have initial
nada,
angle, and Nafany
y es muy
playing
probable que esto
nasty angle
se
in the
decante
smoke.
para la
I don't see how
gente
Hobbit survives
de
this. Well,
Gambit
hold on a
o
second.
de Virtus Pro.
Flit has shown his
De
position
Gambit
now. I
o
don't
de
think he's
Virtus Pro.
realised that Hobbit's seen
De
it.
Gambit
The
o de
pre-fight
Virtus
from
Pro.
Hobbit.
De
Okay,
Gambit o de
now it's the
Virtus
1
Pro.
versus 1. This shouldn't be possible, but he
¿Qué
had
está
the right
jugando
plays at the
Hobbit?
right
¿Qué
time,
estás
Hobbit.
haciendo
Found the
Hobbit?
kid
No
as well.
piques,
James has
no
to be
piques
real
Jane,
careful
no
here.
piques Jane, no
Creeping around,
piques
Hobbit
Jane.
touches the bomb!
Muy buena
That was a must-win for
Jane,
Virtus
qué
Pro.
miedo que tuve.
Down to the wire. Last man, but they do it.
Mucho miedo.
Yeah, that's the key thing. You know, they do go down to the last man, so their
Muy
economy
buena
is
gente,
being.
muy buena,
Yeah,
muy
I mean,
buena.
despite winning the
Muy buena
rounds,
ronda de los chicos de
it's
Virtus,
going to be pretty rough on the whole money situation.
Demasiado,
Gambit still
pero
with
demasiado buena
banks
para
to
mi gusto.
use here. I mean, Virtus Pro, I think what we're seeing in a round like that is just their approach. It gives them a lot of options in the mid rounds because they've been, you know, I mentioned previously, you know, on the attacking side, Gambit were doing all of this. You know, they were playing that default, but pretty much always coming back to the A ramp around the 1 minute mark. You know, it's pretty consistent. What VP are doing with some level of consistency is having control of the middle point of the map and then creating pressure that feels like it might be A or B. And then that gives them the options to do what we saw here, where the rotation goes to one site and then they get an opening in mid.
Hola,
And that gets them
CSGO.
positional advantages.
Qué
So
lindo,
VP
¿cómo, cómo hacen para
playing
tener
really
esas
well
cosas?
with their strategic approach right now. I'm
Buenas,
not really sure
Nagu.
what Gambit are supposed to do against that. But I'm sure we'll find out soon.
Key rounds. Key round for both squads. Shiro with a quick flick, and you've got to be careful because your Kindar's creeping, and that is going to be very difficult to deal with. Key round with, as we saw in the previous round, but Nafany couldn't find 2 here. There's the first one. Flick can't trace. Kicker here as well. That's the bomb spotted, but of course, there is plenty of time. They are up against it though, and again, Yakindar trying to make a difference, and he will, as he often does, on this A bomb site. Shiro, oh, he's been hurt by the Molotov, and he could be sprayed down for it indeed. I think he needed to stay closer to the smoke there. Try and play shotgun mode, and that gives an opening for Virtus Pro now. An early 3 versus 2 on the A bomb site.
Bueno,
Yeah,
está
so they
bastante
should
entretenido esto por
anticipate
ahora,
that the rotation is sort of where it is
Tengo que
right now.
admitirlo,
They're
demasiado,
deciding to
tengo
commit
que
into the
admitirlo.
site. They have a slight advantage in numbers and also Now the bomb is starting to be planted. The cover there is there from side alley with Yukindar. Oh, the tagging though. Kika can't move a muscle here. Well, it's not going to matter. Axel's going to take him down anyway.
They've got a smoke. Which side do they put it on? Going to put it on the bomb itself, actually. But that's going to give the T's angles, surely.
Anyway.
Someone's going to touch it. Axel doesn't hold it, though. And there's no spray coming out just yet. Buster starting to wonder now, moving towards shore, so no one's here. So this is going to really kill some time for them. Axel with the swing with the FAMAS, 2 versus 1, but someone's got to get on the bomb. They don't have a defuse kit. There's no time to defuse it. They had to stay on the bomb. They had little choice. Someone's got to focus on it. I feel like one of the players who isn't alive
pero no pudieron realizar lo que es el defuse, así que 0 llega.
Otherwise we lose the round. The kit was all the way down at ramp. You saw it collected towards the end there.
Yeah.
But your people who have been fragged already have got to be on that.
Yeah, I think I'm not sure, was it Axel who was around, was closest to the bomb? I think he was just trying to support his teammate and just wasn't thinking about the eventuality that his teammate gets both kills. I think he's probably presuming that his teammate's going to get one and then get traded, and then he has to trade the trader. But oh no, it was Axel that was doing the fragging.
Yeah, he had to go so deep for that first kill.
Yeah.
I imagine they were hoping someone would be closer to give them more time, but
yeah.
A masterclass from Virtus Pro in that respect made him go deep for that frag, and then it was too late. It was inconsequential. But they have managed to pull something out for this round, Gambit. You can see Hobbit with the CZ75, a shortage on some grenades, but they've got some big guns as well. Of course, we can see Shiro with that AWP. Hobbit almost going for a 30 bomb. He's got 25 kills so far. It's almost double the nearest person on the T side for Virtus Pro, but of course now the sides have changed. Maybe those stats will as well.
Me sirve.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting this round in particular, because it is certainly like a swing sort of territory here. VP could really build the momentum, but this is a twofer for whoever wins it. So hugely important. It is certainly like a swing sort of territory here. VP could really build the momentum. And we can see now the slow but sure maneuver towards the B sites here.
I don't see how Gambit win this. They've got one flashbang for a swing, one flash across the whole map.
Oh, but still, Inters finds one kill. They have players around the site, so they can get some engagements here before the bomb goes down, but it's not going their way. And Shiro has an AWP and Hobbit with the CZ. I don't know about this one here for Hobbit. Able to take down one at the very least, but down to 16 health. Surely he can get traded out. Does a lot of damage to Buster, actually. And maybe Shiro, if he picks off one, there could be an opportunity. Just desperately trying to survive at this point, though. He is going to have to fall back.
Yeah, they on AWP. He is absolutely going to be hunted by Virtus Pro. You know Jay wants that AWP. They've definitely got a board in their gaming room. And the first line of that whiteboard says, "Get me an AWP." Virtus Pro continue to win these marginal situations, but I mean, that one was very difficult for Gambit. One flashbang across the whole map. I can't see that one happening. As you can see how hungry James is for that ball. He'll be denied a swipe from Shiro.
Yeah, how important it is for him to hold on to this. It's so important. The thing is, for VP too, they don't really want to lose guns, but they understand how important it is for the AWP to stay in the hands of Gambit here. They're so broke, and single AWP can certainly change the tide, or turn the tide. But at the same time, it's really hard on this map because you can get really close with nades. So, you know, where do you put the AWP to have most impact? You can't really play that aggressively on this map, on the CT side. So how do you convert that saved AWP into something in this round? Tell me, James. Tell me now.
If he's got a spawn for ramp, I would imagine he goes for one of the fast peaks there. We saw him do that previously, missed a flick.
That's true.
But you can expect the pace to remain slow from Virtus Pro. So, yeah, I think it is indeed very difficult. Obviously, you can have an angle towards the steps on B, but we've seen a lot of presence in mid from Virtus Pro as well. So maybe they'll play against the expectation. Of course, there are some easy fadeaway angles, but Virtus Pro will be expecting this AWP to be holding one of these dirty angles, and of course, when you've got a mind like James on your side, they'll know all the tricks and usual places where you would play in a round such as this. He's maybe one of the best snipers in the game when it comes to a hero AWP, and it is going to be the fast ramp play. Actually, not so slow after all.
He wants more, James. He's going back to the well.
Yeah, I mean, he has to get more, really. That one kill was not enough for him to win the round, but he's got so many angles to post up on. We can see Gambit being proactive elsewhere. That pot flash will be heard, though, by Virtus Pro, and they know that there may be assailants coming for them from the back. They are much better equipped, however, and they've got time on the clock, so they may not be too concerned just yet. We can see Hobbit creeping the P250. Now he could try and go beyond that smoke, but Flit, I believe, has an angle, unless he's hiding behind the sandbag. There we go.
Unfortunate.
That's expensive information for Hobbit.
Yeah, this is really scary for VP, but that certainly makes it a lot nicer. Feel a lot more manageable, less scary. But Shiro is still here. Shiro can connect again. Suddenly it's very desperate for VP, but it's a whiff, it's a flash. And that's Shiro gone, that's the AWP, the best chance gone in the round for Gambit. Inters will try to creep through and play around the smoke here with this P250, but really there's not a lot to work with. Oh no! Oh, James, how's he connected that one? The trades come through, and it's now just going to be Buster and Keycut here to try to keep this alive for VP. Should be enough. Nafany's not really in a position to do too much here.
That's a one-way from Keycut. Surely it's a one-way he just made. He's 66 HP as well. He could get one shot by this USP. Is there an angle for Nafany to go through the smoke maybe and find something? Keycut moving in the corner now.
Oh, he knows.
Marvelous. Yeah, that execute from Virtus Pro in that short position to completely Molotov, HE, and blind Shiro was beautiful. And again, I think Virtus Pro are the hardest team to get that hero AWP to work against, because James, I think, is one of the absolute best at that exact example.
And now it's 11-11. We're all tied up, and it feels like we're sort of, you know, at a clean slate between these two teams in terms of the back and forth, the momentum. Money not really good for VP. If they lose, they will have to half buy or save, even possibly with a plant. And then similarly for Gambit, they'll also have to save. So again, we're back into this territory again, but Hobbit's going aggressive down the ladder. He's behind enemy lines here. He's going to get a freebie against Flit, and now he can cover his retreat. Oh man, this is dangerous. There's no one to punish him out mid as well. Great play there. That could make the difference. There's now Nafany's challenge. Doesn't have to... Oh, the flash comes into the perfect timing. I think it blinds them both, but Shiro converts.
3 more to go. Holding angles towards Keycut. The Molotov may force him away, though. It's surely going to spread. Indeed, it is. The smoke is here, but that'll give Keycut slightly more angles to play with. Gambit have lost a lot of rounds in this half that they will feel marginal, but it's looking good for them at the moment. The exchange continues. The incendiary to delay a bomb plant, but there's still a minute on the clock. Keycut moving forward. Hobbit is eliminated, and there's no trade. Keycut dancing around now as that bomb is planted, but Nafany will finally finish him off. 4 versus 2, but James is in position with the AWP.
It's a 2v4. This is going to be a tough one for Buster and James. James going to reposition around the side alley. Or actually, no, he's still actually up high on top of the ramp. Oh, he's just owning them right now. This is the problem. Inters and Axel don't have utility to... They have to just win the gunfights here. They have to provoke the peak and win the battle, but you can't win the battle against James. Just knocking them all down. Inters tries to make a go of it, though. He's going to have to try to just push further forward, but he has no time. He has no time at this point. He gets the last kill, but that's a wrap. Great stuff again from James.
Yeah, you've got to have that smoke on Vertigo for the defuse. You have to have that smoke, especially when James is in a post-plant situation with an AWP. He's going to cause you all kinds of grief, and that helps Virtus Pro take the lead. To some degree, the numbers almost don't matter if James has position and an AWP. You've got to have the utility to take him out of the game. They have to have the smoke if they allow the bomb to get planted, and James so many problems. Look how abusable those angles are with that. AWP, so hard to find a headshot there versus him.
(12-11), VP taking the lead. Gambit with just enough to get back onto a reasonable buy here, and Hobbit delaying things there around sandbags. That's very annoying. And VP, they look really committed to this. Nice opening though. Flip will remove the sandbags player. Hobbit's out of the action. And they don't even have to keep going. They've got so much time on the clock. They can reset off of this if they want to. Or they can continue to scale. Right now they're just holding position, looking for a response, and they're going to punish the responses. Nafany's out there in the open! Famas looking good in his hands as he backs away. He gets out of there.
They will realize that that wasn't him they just killed as well. Nafany still on the site somewhere. So they will be careful switching out for the AWP. They've got the position now. They've hit the scope as well. You can see they're starting to consider their options versus Pro. A lot of utility being thrown this way to try and take these angles away. Clear the AWP up, but he has somewhat repositioned. And with this presence shown from Virtus Pro, they will quietly slink away. Have a look at the B bomb sites on the radar. There's no one there whatsoever. Only 2 plays for Gambit. Axel trying to creep towards the B bomb site now with the FAMAS. Got to find himself a 1 versus 1 before they all post up. HE grenade for the bomb plant. That's going to be a meaty one. He gets 2 of it as well, but can he finish off? Eats a flashbang from his teammate, and down he goes. That's a disastrous timing when they had some chance, Gambit.
Yeah, especially after the HE. You know, that suddenly makes the FAMAS perform, of course, significantly better. That both players are on 50 health, but it's not to be. It was a good effort from Nafany, though, really just crushing it with the FAMAS, and of course saving the AWP as a result is going to be some small consolation moving into the following round. But VP, they do look like the better team overall so far. I mean, I say overall, it's a slim margin, but a margin that is clearly felt on the server at the moment.
They're consistently winning those margins on this half.
Yes.
Again, ignoring the rounds connected to the pistol, if you will. Gambit haven't won a round in this half. It's been 6 rounds in a row for Virtus Pro.
That's a very good point, yeah. And they've been close. They've been very close in some of these rounds too. But again, the strategic approach from the T side looks a lot better for VP, in my mind. Just the way that they're playing it allows for them to have more options, and they're more unpredictable. Gambit's T side was pretty tight in the approach, but it was fairly predictable. And I think that was something that was very helpful for VP. And if VP hadn't had that hiccup with Keycut, you know, they actually would have perhaps had a much greater first half, and where they would have won the first half with a lot more rounds. So yeah, overall I agree. VP looking better on round to go so far today, but it's CSGO. It's the best of 1. Gambit are not dead just yet. They do have the saved AWP in the hands of Shiro to work from.
Abajo.
We didn't catch the wall bang. That's a bit nasty.
That particular angle on the bomb site versus AKs is a problematic angle for Gambit. But if you don't take that angle, then you can have multiple players swinging on the site, right? But you need either AWP somewhere else, I feel like, to catch players trying to pick that angle if there is another way for them to do that. Because they have lost so many players, I think, in that particular spot. Be a very interesting heat map, and again it is the hero sniper for Shiro versus the rifles, no wolf for Jane, but if Shiro drops then that could change. Forward grenades now, but Ikendar's in a great position with the Mag 10, and again, another team flash. The synergy doesn't seem to be there for Gambit, trying to swing with flashbangs and it's not happening. Hobbit gets a maybe random shot through the smoke, Interns pushing forward as well. Damage, but no kill. Now you got to think about holding on to AWP for the next round.
Yeah, the important thing is they managed to fall back after the plant, so they've done the hardest job now. And Ikendar's still there up in their faces with the Mag 10 if necessary, if they start to push this. Really doing his job at the moment. Keeping the pressure on. Keeping the presence alive. Nice shot from Hobbit though. They are doing a lot of damage here. 3 HP for Hobbit, 5 HP for Shiro. Shiro's going to surely want to hold on to this. AWP is going to fall back, but
Smart from Hobbit.
Perhaps Hobbit can, make them go down with the ship.
Qué lástima.
I think
Qué
Buff's got too much
lástima.
health here to die, indeed. And I mean, Shiro will keep the AWP again. And they managed to get a bunch of kills out of that one. So that could go a long way. If they pick up this next round, they will actually be able to break the economy, I believe. Or be very close to it.
I think that's a 30 bomb from Hobbit now.
It is
a 30 bomb. He has reached 30 kills. However, again, they are lacking rounds. They are severely lacking rounds in this half. No significant round beyond the pistol has been won by Gambit. And it has to change now if they are to show something in this half. Otherwise, Virtus.pro will find themselves on match point. And Gambit will be 1 for 2. Those are the gaps in the smoke I was talking about in the first half, by the way.
Yeah. So again, we're going back into kind of the full by default territory and that mid control. We know how important it is. Look at how fast Yakindar is through mid. So much presence, and surely very scary for Gambit. They've got to respect that with the way that they're positioning. And they're going to fall out of mid immediately here.
Okay.
And look at the attention on that mid position right now. So that means that VP have sort of created an opening on the A site. They have a small window of timing to abuse when it's just Nafany here. And that window's now gone. The rotation's back on the site.
"35 seconds. Virtus.pro at the bottom of the ramp. One smoke remains for Gambit in the hands of Exile, who's on the B bomb site. 25 seconds now, and there may not be a short push from Gambit. This is going to look very problematic. Very important kill there for Nafany. Not overextending. You can see 3 people looking at him, which is really going to slow things down even further. The bomb spotted. Have a look at the Yakindars jiggling. They have half a chance now. Shiro is not going to be able to stop the bomb plant itself, and they somehow still get it down. And their numbers are tied. It's a 3 versus 3. Exile still has his hands on that smoke, soon to be deployed, it looks like, but the flashbang will be first. Hopefully not of Team Flash this time.
Yeah, and James just has to hold like he has been. And he's so good, he's so consistent, he's so ready. And there is the smoke that's going to allow Gambit to get a little bit closer, tap the bomb, create some pressure. Flit, in response, goes deep. Sitting on top of the bomb here, trying to delay things even further, making it very chaotic indeed. Inters takes him down, the trays come through, someone needs to get on the bomb. Someone will get on the bomb, but is there enough time here? Looks like there should be. And Gambit keep themselves alive in this one. Solid retake from them. Very scary, but at least this time they had the smoke, and that made the difference.
Yeah, and
still, that's
why so much spam in the smoke. That's one thing I'm not a huge fan of on Vertigo on the A bump side, is this kind of smoke spam situation, but they're able to get the defuse there, and hey, it works on both halves, right?
Yeah.
And maybe that just means you have to really stop that bomb from getting planted in the first place. And again, beautiful late round counter-strike from Virtus.pro. But finally, Gambit prove victorious. And let's not forget the damage they did in the previous round. We can see that the money is kind of broken for Virtus.pro. They'll have a half investment here, 2 AK-47s and 3 pistols, trying to keep that CT economy honest, as even though after the pistol, that's really the first significant round for Gambit. They're only 2 rounds behind. And maybe they needed their backs to the wall to try and pull a performance out here on Vertigo.
Yeah, Nafany's going quite aggressive. I wonder if he wants to just play very reactively off the sound cues, try to just steal away more position. But for now, you've got to be careful. They don't have to do too much. They've forced that eco. We'd mentioned it before. They'd set themselves up for this. They have a huge advantage. You don't have to go aggressive and take huge risks when you already have the advantage. So at this point, it's a question of just where is Virtus.pro going to go? And just reacting to what they're doing. Oops, we get some pressure through to Ray-Rab, but VP, typical of VP, they're pressuring all over the place. You don't know what the true intentions are, but there, Yakindar opens up the B side of the map, and Inters and Hobbit have to hold this now by themselves.
Yakindar's so good. He's so dangerous. Always getting these kills, looking for another one. Be an exchange of damage, and Inters will try and create some space for himself to stay alive. The bomb sprint dropped 20 seconds as Kindle will have to fall back with 4 HP, but
Los chicos de Virtus están muy tocados,
for Virtus Pro.
Demasiado
With
tocados
an
para
AK,
Blue.
the entry frags are so consistent from him. He's been a huge problem on the ramp. And he shows that he can be dangerous on the B-bomb side as well, but Gambit will start to catch up now. They'll have 4 players alive, and we spoke about the Virtus Pro money, but it's important they build a little cash here as well in case something goes wrong later on, but they can't really afford for that to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely something that's so far. I mean, you don't like this is such a close game. It really is such a close game. You know, we've been talking about how we feel like VP is playing a better Vertigo. That's true, I would say, but at the same time, it's not. They're not playing so much better that there's not an individual that could just stand up in one round for Gambit and then just change the equation with their individual play. We're going to get a more aggressive approach again. Nafny going deep. There's a spam. He finds one through the headshot, through the smoke, and gets a headshot onto James. That's a big pick.
Yeah, and Shiro needs to be careful now. They've got a good advantage. James taken out is so important. If Virtus Pro plant the bomb, they still need to deal with Yakinda, that's for sure, but they don't want to give this opportunity away too easily. Nafny and Hobbit with a different setup, a crossfire. Yakinda's creeping once again, looking for that same headshot. Will land it again. Buster will get a first kill, and down goes Flip. Got to be careful. Kikut's creeping. Perfectly placed HG there. And now the score is tied. Shiro through the wall. Gambit rising just when they need to. 14 apiece. Pressure is high for both squads now.
Yeah, and that's what we're talking about. Just that just crazy spray through the smoke. Lands that headshot. And the thing that sucks about that is that, you know, VP are in a position where they know that they can't allow that advantage to go unchallenged. They have to actually kind of commit off of that. They can't be in a position where they just allow. There's a small opening at that point to maybe trade it. So just with that to look better right at the end, better, then I mean this is exactly
the round. Manages to escape into, tries to drop the molly. Has he dropped it in time? No, Flip's got a decision to make. Force forward! Okay, they won the round, they got wrecked. It was a Nico, but that was such a sick frag. I really enjoyed that. But hey, Gambit find their way to match point now because it was worrying for a significant run of rounds from Virtus Pro.
Yeah.
And they need one more to take this one to overtime.
No, it's really crazy because, again, it's felt like VP have been winning this game pretty much the whole game until right now. Until round 28 and 29 and possibly round 30. We'll see, you know, what VP have if they can equalize it. They've got a great buy behind them. And we won't see Gambit, you know, running in, taking those early round risks just yet. They've got a sense of mid control, which is important. We know how VP likes to go for that mid control or that mid pressure. So Gambit are forced early on to respect that and place players there. Going for a pretty fast timing here towards this B site though. Oh, huge pick.
Yeah, but Yakinda still creeping and he will trade. He will create some space. He is the can opener and he'll be successful once again. We see the rotation in. Is it the right one this time? As we have seen Gambit hold the wrong bomb side eventually, but Virtus Pro are still so close now. An exchange of grenades on both sides. They've got to take these angles away from James. You can see Nafny creeping, trying to play anti-flash. He'll hear the grenades being deployed if they throw some, but we can see Kikut looking over the smoke, as is James. Plenty of sound cues as well. Yakinda are creeping, and does Nafny survive this? He doesn't. They're lining up for incest, though. No kill for him. Man advantage, Virtus Pro.
They might just be lining up again. The spray comes through. It's only one for Hobbit, but slowly but surely it's happening. And Gambit, somehow, someway, have actually won this game of Vertigo. Again, it really felt like VP was a better team all the way until the 28th round when finally Gambit found themselves. And my goodness. I mean, what a crazy game. That was great.
That was awesome. I knew it was going to be, but man, that was quite nerve-wracking for all concerned. Could see an exhale, the victorious exhale from Gambit after that game, and that had to be mad pressure. I think it was at least 7 rounds in a row from Virtus Pro after Gambit had won the pistol and the consecutive rounds, but to come through at the end there after all that pressure and pull out the W will be good for Gambit. And hey, that is a great test for them as they move forward to the 2-1 mark. As for Virtus Pro, they move to 1-2 now, and there's more work for them to do.
It's crazy. You know, I feel like VP against many different opponents in the current pool of play would probably have come out on top. That, you know, they played a really great game of Vertigo here, but Gambit are a great team. And one of the cool things as well about matchups like this is the knowledge of the regional meta. You know, not just the regional meta too, but there's the team versus team meta, because VP and Gambit have played each other a bunch of times. They know each other, you know, and the ins and outs of one another's playstyles. So that creates like a little bit of magic that and unpredictability in a game like this with two high-level opponents. So great matchup. I feel like it sucks that somebody lost, but someone had to.
That's quite a ball bag from Kicker. I love these two teams playing against each other versus Pro and stimulating matches because the mind game. Sheer firepower, just like your Kinder bomb site, shooting around by the CTs proves so problematic when you're up against an AK. When you have, it's going to be really hard to exist in that position. But versus Pro, again, that's open B bomb sites after slink away, especially on a map such as Vertigo, where it's really hard to get that rotation in quietly. Was really impressive, but again, Gambit just digging deeper towards the end to take it. All 30 rounds, just getting the late rounds they needed. Very strong play from them.
Yeah, I actually liked Gambit's T-side's approach a lot more than I liked VP's T-side approach, sorry, a lot more than Gambit's, but at the same time, Gambit played even better on their TT side. So when they got into the defense, even though, you know, VP's offense was better than, I believe, than what we saw in the first half, like their level was heightened also. So that also made it even more intense because obviously like going into towards the end, you know, it was unclear who was going to be able to take this one. And it's really cool just seeing the level of performance as well from players like, you know, Nafany. I feel like he had a lot of really great moments. You know, we had Hobbit, you know, hitting that 30 bomb.
39 frags, Dan.
Pretty quickly.
He got 39 kills.
But he finished on 39. That's insane. And that was, I think, in some sense, kind of a quiet, sneaky 39 kills, because we didn't really see Hobbit having like these crazy multi-frag moments or like winning these extremely important clutches. I feel like players like Nafany and Shiro were kind of putting themselves in more of those impact kill spots, but at the same time, everybody on this team did what they had to do, obviously.
Yeah, we had a lot of focus on the A bomb site and Shiro and so on, but Hobbit with 39 frags in regulation.
Por lo menos se le dio bien,
30 rounds. That is a massive
quiero decir,
performance from him, and we can see how much it was needed as they win by the narrowest of margins.
Yeah, multiple major finalists.
Vamos a ver cómo se desarrolla por ahora.
It's crazy to think, because I think a lot of people forget about the PGR Krakow major.
Todo depende de cómo se desarrollen las partidas ahora.
Obviously, that's the one where, you know, Zeus led the team Gambit to victory. And I think, a lot of people forget about that, but of course, you know, Hobbit, part of that team, and you know, we're going to see, you know, what else Gambit can bring to the table. And similarly for VP, I think, despite VP being in a spot where they're going to be on the struggle bus a little bit in terms of their results, they're still very dangerous, and I feel like they are getting better progressively, so they just have to survive.
That was a great game for our first game, and there's plenty more CS to come. Astralis versus Heroic is coming up after the break. We'll see you soon.
Bueno, esperando a ver qué sucede con la transmisión. Y a ver qué partidos vienen, También eso no hay que olvidarse. Estamos haciendo la transmisión en simultáneo de la Major. Todos los partidos los vamos a pasar, así que están más que invitados a participar. Que vino el CSGO. Ya los chicos de Furia y Vitality están haciendo el pick'em. Pero me parece que yo me voy a decantar por el partido de Astralis. Astralis Heroic podría ser que me decante. Liquid y Furia. Nah, Liquid y Furia. Vamos a verlo ahora. El Liquid Furia que va a ser el primero que van a castigar.
You believe they will win. GG back. Be excited. GG back.
Ahí está. Buena gente, gracias por los tapsitos, se agradece un montón. Gracias. Bueno, vamos a hacer la configuración ahora de la Mayor porque ya quedan 20 minutos para que continúe Astralis. Ya vuelvo, así que esperen un minutito que me voy a hacer algo para tomar. Y en cierre, eso sí. Ya estoy volviendo. Con el primer partido, el segundo ya. Este es el segundo partido de los 1-1, si no me equivoco, ¿no? Liquid, sí. Segundo partido de los 1 versus 1. Así que vamos a ver qué pasa, qué sorpresas nos traen. Por ahora, Entropic, Copenhague 2-1. Por ahora. Copenhagen Flamen 2-1. Gambit 2-1. Quedan Liquid Furia, Heroic y Astralis para ver quiénes son los que ingresan al grupo del 2-1. Y luego vamos a tener 3 partidos loquísimos entre G2 y NiP, y Entropic y Naitus. No, perdón. G2 y Entropic y Natus y NiP. Navi y NiP. Así que vamos a ver cómo sale esto, Estoy muy nervioso. Estoy muy nervioso, manito. Ya voló. Bueno, gente, ya volví de este recreo. Denme un minutito que ya hago la transmisión oficial. Vamos a ver cómo van. Vamos, listo. Vamos con la transmisión oficial ahora sí.
Specifically on the boiler side of that as well. Utility thrown, he knows it. Doesn't go for the shot in the half wall. Doesn't want to reveal that he's here yet. He's trying to just stay quiet. Let them walk into the
Está durísimo. Furia y Liquid, pero tendría que pasar Liquid. Furia no lo puede ganar. No debe ganar Furia. Me va a complicar mi piquen, Los brasileros pueden complicarlo. El problema es que... Uy, Brasil, uy, Brasil. Ay, 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 SM4. Ay, SM4. Qué lindo snap. No, falló todo lo que podría fallar Fallen, por favor. KS Cerato. Piquea para oscuro. Va a piquear banana. Escuchó en oscuro los salvó al de banana y se lo lleva Grim. Asistido por Fallen. Primera ronda de Liquid. 3-0 Furia arriba. Liquid 1, 3, perdón, 3-1 arriba Furia. Están bien económicamente, por lo que se ve, están bastante bien económicamente los chicos de Furia. Así que vamos a comprobar cómo se desarrolla la partida. Aunque pueden hacer bien económicamente, no me di cuenta que estaban muy mal económicamente.
Kitchen position to try and get them further in, but it's Art that wants to take this back. He's waiting to see if there will be a shoulder that shows. Not sure they'll expect another off angle for the AWP and more patience. Less utility, more picks, that's the play, but Stewie with a good shot back through the wall. Through that board, and a good flash. Drop has to drop off the sandbags, but he's still alive. They have to hit that shot. Sorely Stewie does, and Elise.
Qué locura lo que está pegando Liquid, por favor.
Yeah, Stewie was running out of bullets, which is why you didn't see him just hold down that trigger and spray drop down. He was trying to be a little bit economic. He only had 3 shots to make that work.
Elish está tocadísimo y se baja Winnie. Sigue fingiendo. Saben que están de eco. Pero un pro player de eco es más que cualquier mortal con full equipación. Cerato tiene chaleco.
Fallen a free access to Rap side, and they're going to work their way all the way around to the B bomb site, but that's heading towards the rifle. Yuri essentially.
Están tranquilitos, paseándose por el mapa. Yendo tranquilos, tranquilos, tranquilos. Baja de Yuri. Team Liquid va tranquilamente a plantar. Está plantando. Y esto se va a transformar en ronda para Liquid. Pero lo bueno es que Cerato se pudo agarrar un AK. Muy poca plata consiguieron, muy pocos dólares. Eso sí hay que admitirlo.
Or a giant chicken falls from the sky and attacks you.
All right, listen, I don't want to have nightmares, okay?
I'm thinking like too scary. I'm thinking like concrete donkey from Worms, except it's a giant chicken.
It's giant chicken. This is okay. You're literally like posing that hypothetical. Would you rather fight 100 duck-sized horses, or would you rather fight one horse-sized duck?
One horse-sized duck.
All right, producer says horse-sized duck too. Yeah, horses still kick pretty strong, right? Like, even if they're small, they're probably going to just stampede, trample, run you down.
It's just a lot, isn't it? I don't want to deal with that.
But if they're small, you just
want
like...
the fair fight. I want the one-on-one.
I hope that duck beaks you so hard. Teach you to beak off, Jason.
Look, I can handle ducks. It's the swans I'm afraid of.
Stop looking at me, swan.
Stewie, again, Molotov towards the car and going to move forward. And he probably feels a bit more confident in this round, with the sense that the economy for Furia is pretty chewed up.
It's a Billy Madison reference.
Yes.
In case anyone was wondering. We'll see if Stewie can go back to school this round. Up against the Pistols, keep it conventional, but they don't know where that AK is. The Queserado's grabbed. It's boosted up new box. We know that. We've got that information.
I imagine he peeks into this at some point. Fallen does have some utility ready. Stewie's on the scouting mission. There's the Molotov over to flush them out. But yeah, as you said, the boost. Stewie's not looking for it, so the rifle, if they have a smoke to drop off, they do not. So actually, yeah, Art's going to make a run for that AK-47, and Fallen saw it coming the whole way. And with that op kill, like, Fallen has probably, you know, he might not want to take the risk, but if you're Queserado, you're like, man, that op can just be walking in, he can take his time. So Queserado's got a tough job to do. The rest of Furia not budging from the A-bomb site. Silence on the map.
Silence on the map. Vinny's going to rotate it back in. 4 players ready to go with the execution. That AK still in play and didn't do much damage to it, so the gun becoming a factor. Queserado's gone now. Grim's got the shot. Assist on the flash to Fallen as drop gets pushed off. Nap will fire through the smoke and find Vinny. And Fallen's ready for the flank. Drop is also inside of the palace, hoping that perhaps someone can walk by and he'll get a headshot and get a gun for his troubles, but he's going to be surrounded. Elise making a lot of noise, is going to give up that he is coming around, but manages to get his aim together on top of the sandbags. Which way do you exit at this point? They don't have the information. They're going to go actually all back toward Banana, and Yuri, I was going to say, is probably going to get one here because it's a CZ75. He tagged up Fallen as well, but the op shot successful. Tie game, so Liquid right back into it. And there's Young John. John the Leprechaun?
Yeah. Looking happy.
Looking for that pot of gold this major. In many ways, Liquid were favorites.
Pero bastante bien,
In 2019 when
la partida.
they,
No creí que
Slam,
iba a haber tantas locuras.
that major title.
They were looking good in that Katowice as well that year. It was
They were.
3-3.
that shocked them with an upset.
Yep, shocked a lot of people with an upset, Navi included. But it was ultimately still Astralis in the final that no one could touch.
Timeout from Furia coming to a close, and we're going to get going into round number 7. Still the op on board for Fallen. Nothing to match it on the other side. It's the 4M4s and a FAMAS on drop. This time, Stewie changed his position, went up alt mid to underpass to handle a mid push. There's no fast pressure on Banana. This time they're leaving it clear, at least to begin with. And Art and Drop are going to be calling that out. Drop's out at sandbags right now, feeling no pressure.
Smoke goes down toward the Arch side. Queserado this time without the sniper rifle. Will reposition himself. Actually, he's going to go back into the cubby, so he left early, thinking that there might be a push through that smoke or some utility, some flashes. Instead, though, this is an old school position. Everyone's used it. I'm sure every one of you at home has used it.
Estamos desayunando. A ver si la gente empieza a hablar, porque la verdad, complicado,
It works, yeah. Frickin' campers.
I feel like that word's gone out of style.
It has, hasn't it?
Here we go. Just a delayed Banana take. Stewie leading the way as he does, and they wanted to go fast. They wanted to press the issue around that half wall. The Molotov's going to put a stop to it. The barrage of nades as well. And there we go. Drop. Molotov out of position. He's got the first kill. His teammate has left him to his own devices to die. That's Art backing up into the site. He's got no backup. Actually, Furious pushing down mid again. Nobody rotating.
Se está quemando. Ay, qué lástima. Liquid, Furia, 3-3. Vamos a ver cómo se desenlaza esto. Liquid que planta. Furia, que está en un 3 para 3. Pero Fallen se lleva a Vini. 2 en banana. Están buscando los chicos de Furia a la gente de Liquid. Liquid busca a los de Furia, no conecta. Es con la P. No conecta, pero se lo llevan. Se lo llevan a Naf. Triples, oscuro. Fallen ya saben que está en oscuro. Ya saben que está por defusarlo. Está buscando un boosting. No se lo lleva y saben que el caleo de oscuro. Y se llevan a la P de oscuro. Y esto es un GG para los chicos de Liquid. Furia defusa y se lleva la cuarta ronda. ¡No! No hay timing. Perdón. Soy malísimo casteando.
No utility to flush either Fallen or Elysia out of their positions behind those boxes, so it took so long for them to clear those positions safely.
Qué linda ronda. Por lo menos Liquid se lo llevó,
Considered from Furia, just the time is their enemy, and Liquid take a one-round lead here on the T side of Inferno.
Fallen did well to hit the first shot, but man, you knew he was just going to get absolutely obliterated on the jump around.
The flank as well from Banana came so quick. If it was just maybe like a 1 second faster, they might have been able to either prevent Fallen from picking off the player towards CT spawn, or at least trade that kill and make the retake easier. Just unfortunately not, the timing not there. Liquid starting, again, confidence due to the knowledge of the economy situation, a little bit more confident to take portions of the map early on in the round. 1 minute and 20, they have bracket control and they're already pressuring towards Rap side. It's Stewie to lead the way. Stewie, who wants to be the tip of the spear and investigating. Dropping his smoke to show the potential that they can attack Rap side, Rap towards CT spawn and the B bomb site.
So A, perhaps the play this time.
They're looking for a response with that smoke, right? You can see everyone pause and kind of shift their gaze. They're looking to see what Furia is going to do when that smoke comes out. When they do nothing, they just re-smoke it and pull the trigger. This is the execute they wanted all along. Elysia and Grim combined for a couple of kills, and K-Serato's still alive, but really there's not a whole lot you can do here. Might be able to catch one off guard, Elysia jumping up, but that's about all you're gonna get.
Yeah, nearly got away, but unfortunately the real estate in the apartments has been decreasing, and Beck, despite flooding in with complaints, can't do anything to evict the tenants this time. It's going to be the terrorists that do it instead.
Liquid plantó. Fallen que busca.
CZ75 flash. They're trying to get him out, and they've even gone all the way around towards CT spawn to make sure he doesn't get away with anything, despite that it's
Linda,
just
linda.
Liquid will get the round and all of the kills. So that's going to make things efficient for them. They don't lose too much in doing it, and it's just that little bit extra. Make sure they don't pick up a gun, make sure they don't carry over any armor, and I have to spend that slight bit more and keep the economy honest. However, this round, just to note, with the lost round bonus, they will have a double op.
Yeah, the double op setup switching into it, having some difficulties in these last 5 rounds. It's a 5-0 run for Team Liquid. After, not going to call it a slow start, being down 0-3.
La verdad, bastante conforme con este partido. Team Liquid está haciendo muy buena partida.
One op on K-Serato, that's going to be Boiler. One op on Art, that's at the B-bomb site. And K-Serato looking for a pickoff. Ooh, he had the shot he wanted. You're not going to get a chance to get away. Elysia is going to press that issue each and every time. 14 kills for Elysia. In my entire time as a coach of Team Liquid, probably being able to watch Elysia play on Inferno was one of the more impressive maps in my mind of watching him play. Very, very good in that Boiler position, the Halls position, the mid position.
It's like 3 positions all in one.
Yeah. It's got a deep playbook, Elysia.
Oh, I bet he does. Is that a nice thick book?
Binder, really.
Oh. Tell me more.
Here we go, up mid. Oh, good trade. Stewie goes down, but Grim's got the follow-up frag. 14 HP, did take some damage. Yuri needs a multi-kill. He needs multiple. He's got a Elysia. Now coming around the corner, it's Snap. They line up.
Qué lindo entry de la gente de Vitality.
He would have surely got the other as Grim and Nap on 5 and 7 health. And I don't know if Furia wants to go for this.
It's so frustrating when if you're a Furia fan right now and you're looking
La
at
gente
the
de
options that we
Vitality,
have,
tío.
Grim solo, Naf
Qué
solo,
di.
AWP for Fallen, and he's the high HP player, so ultimately it's, whether or not he hits the shot, but you just can't afford it. You can't justify it, and they have to back away. They don't have all of that.
Yeah, no kits. You have to wait out that smoke that's in small pit. You've only got 2 flashbangs to work with. You know you're going to be retaking against an AWP, so, I mean, even if the other players have low HP, that AWP is going to be able to peek at that long-range retake with impunity. 3-6 as Furia get their scoreline doubled up.
Furia está perdiendo el eje, Verdaderamente lo está perdiendo un poquito el
Doubled
eje.
up, and yeah, looking pretty solid, because this is 6 rounds in a row as well, so that lost round bonus will be still maximized for the CTs. That's partly why you can justify the save. It just strengthens the buy around it, but to note, they did not get either of the AWPs back, as both K-Serrato and Art went down without finding... Well, I take that back. Art did get 1 kill, didn't he? But without finding much impact because it was traded. As we take a look at Vinny. Let's see what he's got up his sleeve. Because they're going to need something. K-Serrato as well, just left on a P250. 5-7 Yuri. I thought they'd have a little more than this, but yeah, the lost round bonus, they were so invested. Only 3,400. It's not really enough on the CT side, so MP9 for Art. And Art is... got a lot of utility in front of him right now. Nade. Oh, Grim. He's just forward of that. Art jumps up, and Art's too smart as he spots out one more. Ooh, a dink on Stewie as well. But Stewie survives. Survives just barely. Drop could actually spray him down through the half wall, and he's going to take out Elise as well. Now the rifle's working because Stewie walks in, and it's a 2K for Drop instead. Thank you very much, Mr. Stu. And Stu over that, Liquid, because now they have to recover. Naf's going to try and do it, but Vinny says no. Absolutely not. Go back to spawn and wait for the next round, son.
That was really dangerous from Furia. The double push, from lane. It felt like they weren't even aware of the possibility that Naf would be lurking there. They could have very easily been doubled up, and then Fallen would have rotated all the way over to the A bomb site with the bomb, and it would have been a weird post-plant 2v2 situation. Fallen still able to grab one. That's Drop who goes down. Yuri surely at some point going to time his step through the smoke, but Fallen's looking for it. Yuri around the edge of the smoke. Good on him. A little bit of a ninja. Portuguese ninja.
Portuguese ninja.
Brazilian ninja?
Brazilian jiu-jitsu is what their thing would be.
Well, yeah, I
it?
know,
but no, but like, because like samurais and all that, that's all, samurais, ninjas, taekwondo, we prescribe that to the Asians. I'm trying to think if there's like a Brazilian, like samurai ninja equivalent.
I'm sure there is.
Some sort of folklore behind it.
I've not brushed up on my Brazilian ancient warrior knowledge.
Understood.
Whatever you want to call it. Vinny's going to drop a Molotov, prevent the jump up from Elige. Or at least just delay it. Good utility damage from Stewie. Tossing that nade out. Art's down to about half HP, but he's going to slide out with the AWP. Teammate at the half wall, waiting to help him out if it's necessary. Art is going to be hidden from Stewie kind of jiggle peeking if he does jiggle peek a little bit deeper, but not that much. Art gets blinded and forced off the angle and forced into the open. Drop goes for the follow-up peek. Beautiful headshot. Beautiful trade as well to keep things even. Extra smoke on the ground for Grim.
Drop's ready to go. They'll push in. Smoke still down, Drop. Both sides of it. In fact, they go for the stairs smoke to try and get up around Oranges. One, to try and force him deeper, to try and force him out, and Molotovs will help do it. Grim's got the kill. Grim with a decent showing so far in this game. 7 kills, not a ton, but it's contribution that's been noted. Elige is the one, again, as leads the way with a remarkable scoreline of 14 kills, just 10 rounds in this, the 11th. And Yuri trying to win this out, trying to make this a 1-round game. As they did win the force buy in the last round. AK-47 to work with. Flashover, he's able to avoid it. No one peeks behind it. Bomb's already planted. They don't need to overextend. They need to buy time. Oh, Yuri, I'm sorry, son. That's not the smoke you were looking for.
No, it's not ideal. I don't think they necessarily would have gone for it either, but with that smoke, yeah, it's going to die them an easy fallback, although Vinny clears up Naf, and that allows them to escape. 7-4. Liquid keep climbing up that scoreboard as another bomb goes off. And this is kind of cool. Liquid have just been able to really, I don't want to say abuse the B bomb site because it hasn't always been easy, but I mean, man, they're finding that kill there with some consistency, and then it's like, let's just go. Let's not waste time moving around the map trying to make things too complicated. Let's pull the trigger and get into the site and get that plant. So far, it's working. It's a 7-1 run. And another timeout called by Furia as they're trying desperately to put a stop to this. But ever since Liquid got their hands on guns in the 4th round, it's been all Team Liquid.
It has indeed. How's the B stream looking? As Gambit did actually manage to come back from a 14-11 on Vertigo and take map 1. I say that confidently because I actually came in here to get ready for us to go live again before I could see the end of that, but I'm fairly certain. Let me
Primera ronda que Astralis puede plantar.
Fool myself today anyway, some way or another. But
Complicado donde está puesto, ¿no?
So it's not this time. Haha, joke's on you, everyone that wanted me to lose that bet. Heroic is beating Astralis 3-0, and that's a pretty sexual matchup in so many ways. Couldn't think of a better name for it, Jason, but yeah, controversial, sexual. A lot of narratives.
Well, Liquid Fury, we are live back into the game. Round 12. Ooh, Stewie takes damage coming through the smoke. I don't think that will necessarily scare him away too much. It might have Grim shift into the point man position. Flashbang is out, drop swings wide. He goes down, but a good trade from Fallen. And Art wants nothing to do with it. 2 AWPs to defend this B bomb site. That's unique. One aggressive, one passive for the moment.
Now trying to find an opening. Actually going to bail out of the apartments at this point, 4-on-4. They want to try and get some control toward Banana, get something else going on the map. And with 3 players here, and 1, 2, 3 smokes to work with, 2 Molotovs, and only the single smoke for Arts, which he's going to deploy now to try and see himself alive. It's not going to be much, but he did deploy it well. He gives K-Serrato a chance to fall back, and K-Serrato, he's got 2, and he's not done yet because he's got better positioning. He's only lagged out Fallen, who managed to elevate himself above, and he's going to look towards CT, knowing that the rotations are coming in that direction, but needs as well to consider that he has the time to put down the bombs, so he best do so. A 1-on-2. Mr. Brazil versus his disciples. And Vinny will work his way back toward the top of Banana. Fallen's positioning is great in if they both come through from that side, but he has to consider that Palace is also a problem. Does he rotate all the way around? Does he try and swing CT, knowing that they've got to be at least this far forward? And if he gets that far, if he's able to get out that doorway and back to the lane, then he just has to work back through CT. It doesn't matter. Yuri's got him. Too many angles, too many things to consider. And Fallen's brain is big, but not enough wrinkles to solve that equation.
He had the right idea, just not the timing on it. Yuri was playing that so patiently. Yuri plays that excellent, waiting for the smoke from his teammate to pull the attention away before moving forward. And Fallen probably assumed after not seeing or hearing anyone that whole time that both players were going to be coming in that direction. Great sequence from K-Serrato. Boy, did Furia need that. And this is very similar to the Astralis game in the first half. Furia getting trounced, but just finding a way to get enough rounds to keep things relatively competitive. Now, the match didn't end competitive, but at least towards the end of the first half. And again, despite the fact that they're getting dominated when it comes to the gun round, the buffer of winning the pistol in the ensuing 2 rounds is quite nice for Furia. 5-7, just 2 rounds back.
Stewie with the Deagle. So yeah, the force buy win really set the tempo for this, didn't it? Because Liquid had full control of the economy. Stewie checking both sides of Banana, but then backing away. Arts hoping to get lucky. The war cry of the AWP firing through the wall. Serrato very passively holds the arch side from CT with his op. And Stewie. No work out from the apartments. Yuri tries to fire off some shots. He actually does catch Grim as they fall to the ground. Vinny, meanwhile, is still behind this.
Vamos a poner las pilas.
And Naf goes down. He's still got the pin.
Mini que se lleva, Furia. Furia que se queda con 4, 3. Fallen que planta, los tiene por todos lados. Planta, asegura el plan. Importantísimo. Vaquea para Pit. Arenas, se queda escondido.
one more to ask of him, and he does at least get back to the pit. He switched to an AK because he knows the situation. He knows they're going to be looking for trades on this. Time will tick, but 2 kits in play. Queserado's not with one. He's getting baited out. He can't find the shot. Surely he
Qué lástima, Fallen. No pudo conectar ninguna bala. Solamente a Cerato le pudo disparar, pero una bala que lo comprometa no pudo conectarla. Así que esto, sin más, es ronda. Ronda para los chicos de Furia.
It'll be interesting what decision Liquid go for this. They did have a hero AK previously. Good round again from Furia. When they're able to find, this might be why we're seeing Liquid end so much of the B bomb site. These A hits, actually, Furia's defense has done a pretty good job of negating some of the early entry attempts and being able to bring reinforcements over in time. A has not nearly been as successful as B. Elijah has passed a hero AK just like previously in this game. It was passed over to Stewie at that point. And again, it's Fallen who does that. So being a little bit of a generous in-game leader to make sure his star players have what they can to get going, to find a hot hand. Elijah with 14 kills, Fallen with 12.
Vinny gets Stewie down as he was continuing to try and find an opening pick with that Deagle. Fallen's in a similar position, but the Flames down can't do anything of it. Just trying to get a read on the defense at this point in time. Elijah's going to sneak up. That AK going into the apartments could be interesting at this point, because if he's able to get the opening pick at the site, if he's able to get Queserado, okay, smoke timing is going to change all that, and they've rotated. My point was going to be, if he could find the one in the site, he actually swings to the lane. He gets 2, but they're aware now that Elijah is there. And he's being cheeky with this smoke. Oh, he spotted.
No.
Gone this time. Not much you could hope for. Yuri now waiting as well to see what else will come this direction. We should have a tie game if they're able to continue playing this methodically against Pistols. Good bait in. Queserado finds that, and Vinny sprays down 2. Pretty straightforward. And well-disciplined round. Good discipline in that round.
Complicado sin andar así, ¿eh?
Well, this went from everything was happy and comfortable to oh dear. They've caught back up very quickly. It was 7-1 run at some point. It's now 4 of the last 5 rounds have gone to Furia.
A deer? Like a dog with horns?
It's like a liquid sandwich on the scoreboard.
It was a Montoya reference. Never mind. But yeah, liquid sandwich. Don't think that would very much, like, it wouldn't do well to hold the meat in place, you know?
No.
How are you supposed to hold a liquid sandwich?
That's a fair point. I didn't really think about that before I said it.
Yeah. Hang on. You could freeze the liquid. And then break your teeth.
Eat it real quick before it melts. Stewie, the point man on banana.
Some would say it would melt in your mouth, Jason.
Not in your hands. Naps found one. Elijah is also trading.
Linda de Liquid.
Into a 3v3 very quick, and there's the op in the back lines over at the B bomb site. Vinny's gonna get some
Ronda 15, última ronda para sacar ventaja. INAF cae con Nibi. El 3v3 se transforma en 3v2 a favor de Furia. Ya sabe Art que hay uno ahí. Tiró un humo en CT. Y se lleva la vida de Slem. Va a plantar, no le importa nada. No le importa nada, va a plantar. Ay, te vienen por atrás. Te vienen por atrás. Tengo mucho miedo. Tengo mucho miedo. ¿Saben que está ahí? Sí. ¡Ay! ¡No! Con una sola bala. Con una sola bala. Y es de Furia. Con una sola bala.
I feel like Fallen was put in like 3 clutch situations in this second half during this little Furia run to close out.
Qué lástima, qué lástima.
And he didn't win any of them. I mean, that one was tough. 1v3, you're stuck in water. He had the 1v3 earlier at the A bomb site, and a 1v2 at the B bomb site as well. and just couldn't come out on top of any of them. Tough situations all. No blame sent that direction, but Liquid would have loved to have one of those rounds. 1 round lead for Furia. Look, I know I'm from North America, and I know I was, formerly with Liquid, but
Qué linda bala le puso.
considering how that half felt for most of the going.
It's all right. Just like the North American teams, I also had a round where I was off there, so it's fine. We'll just forget it ever happened and get started. Okay. Double deagle would be pretty menacing, I think.
That'd be unfair. That'd be unreasonable. Fast-paced. Here we go. B-Rush. Nade is going to be dropped out by Naf. That's great damage. Softens him up in a big way, but that one hurts. Stewie falls. That means Naf has to stay passive now that his teammate, his Crossfire, is no longer there. And Naf has been brought down to 10 HP. So Fury have just exploded into this bomb site.
Plantaron el C4 los chicos de Furia. Liquid que está totalmente liteado, totalmente, y se lleva ARG la cabeza de Green, se la llevó. ARG otra vez, otra cabeza, y otra cabeza, y otra cabeza. Pronto para los chicos de Furia, se van al 9-7.
With Furia having a 2-round lead and the momentum on the second half, good position to be in. See, if you did play for money in the last round, maybe you could unlock double deagles. Maybe I'm smarter than all of you, chat.
Qué linda bala le puso a Green. Y acá, otra linda bala. Otra linda bala, Fallen. Uf. Stewie va a tener que defender con esa casi eco que hicieron. Una UMP, una Scout, DK en oscuro, le tira el smoke. Fallen, tranquilo. Vamos a ver cómo se desarrolla esta ronda. Cerato limpia. Yuri va por rampa. Limpia en cabecilla. Están por entrar en B por ratas. Palacio. Smokean jungla. Caliaba cualquier cosa. Tienen info de que están shooteando. Ese shooteo, gente. Ese shooteo. No terminan haciendo nada. No hay bajas todavía. Elig, no te muevas. No te muevas, Elig. Lo vio. Muy buena, se llevó la baja. No tiene prácticamente daño. Saben que es B. Están entrando en B. Elig que vuelve. Muere Stank. Muere Stewie, digo. Stank. Ay, parece que lo...
Didn't spot him, got into the cubby, thought he was actually going to be a little bit closer and see him on the cross, but just enough behind the corner. Grim going down gives information, but now Elise, he didn't have any information about the backlines. That gives him
qué lástima la de Liquid, 17.
Maybe makes things awkward, but round was too far gone either way at that point, so Fury get away down 10-7.
Ahora sí están complicadísimos. Ahora sí.
And again, these are the 1-to-1 matchups. All elimination matches are best of 3s. And that would mean, obviously, the winner of this gets into the upper side of the bracket. For the bottom side of this, both these teams have had struggles as of late. I think a lot of teams have, right? That is the narrative of this major. We don't really know what to expect online. Certain teams endured. Other teams kind of failed to keep the rosters intact or motivated. And you don't, in the Legend stage right now, you don't want to be facing elimination.
No.
It's wide open.
You certainly don't want to deal with having to run through a gauntlet of having to win 2 best of 3s. You know, facing elimination at 2-2 is one thing. When you're 0-2 or 1-2, man, that feels scary. There's a lot of pressure on that. Furia probing towards the B bomb site. 3 players already peering in with cover of smoke in the CT choke point. It's a mid-stack for Team Liquid, but it doesn't look like Furia is ever going to have to see it, ever going to have to spring it. And they might get that information without ever even needing to peek. Vinny can stick around and try and build up some bonus money because his team is calling that the B bomb site is clear. time for Vinny to shine. That early dink might actually shy him away. He's got a double kill with the MAC-10, so a little bit of bonus money. Round's going to be to Furia. 11-7, it's going to be a 4-round lead. Not just a 4-round lead, but it's, you know, 7 in a row. 8 of the last 9 rounds going to Furia.
That's actually a good point, because, yeah, it was Liquid that won 7 of 8 and 6 in a row in the first half, so it's just completely swapped. My, how the turntables. Stewie will take down Art. Drop is sneaking through the highway position, though, and should be able to get in behind them, even though they think they're clever. They think they can get away with a weapon. AK staring them down as well as Case Serrato at range. Makes no mistake on the kill. And now I think they're aware that they have gone in behind. And Stewie doing what he can. The smoke criminal, as he's known. He doesn't matter. Drop's got him out of the picture, and Elige was waiting to see if anyone would exit Banana. Instead, as his teammates were trying to force them that direction, that was kind of the play, right? Go through CT, why would they battle it? And if they come out that direction, he gets a kill and gets a gun, but it's not going to happen. The AK stay up, and Elige gets nothing for his efforts, and despite the tactic, he has 49.50, and there will be money this time, as expected for Team Liquid, so they'll buy into this.
As the desk said leading into this match, historically Liquid, when they won the Grand Slam, it was based on those CT sides. They had a lockdown defense. It's looking like they're going to need to find some of that same mentality here, so this CT side can propel them back into the game, close the gap in the scoreline, help them overcome regional rivals. Stewie, behind the smoke, gets destroyed by a flashbang in Case Serrato. And that's the other thing too. Remember, there's also a blueprint of how to completely dismantle Furia's T-side. Astralis just did it yesterday. A lot of it was aggression down Banana. They controlled that pretty much whenever they wanted. Obviously a bummer that Stewie couldn't maintain that dominance here in this first gun round. But it felt like if you control Banana and you put a stop early and you get that opening pick on Furia, much, much less dangerous and much less dynamic.
Smoke goes down to cover off the connection to B. That's a late smoke, 49 seconds. That'll get us to around the 30-second mark before there's even a chance or a hint of going through that. Nav still trying to peek to make sure they don't, because, let's face it, teams have gone through those on many occasions. And Elige now sees the execution, sees the flash, wants to try and give Nav a chance to peek, but he's smoked. They held enough. The initial smoke might have bought space, but now the time is in the favor of Furia. 20 seconds, and they've forced the perimeters of the site to be completely covered off. And Elige backing away slightly. Do they consider this? There's 2 players in A that are not rotating. I think they're going to call. I think they're going to get back on this and just give it up, despite that they're down only 1 man. They don't want to risk the money.
Yeah. Well, I thought they'd at least stick around and see if they could add 1 more onto it. I guess they had their chances. Got a couple players low through those smokes, but whew, that one hurts to give up, but you're right. They can't really. If they lose everything on that retake and with no kits, with very little utility, as you said, with a couple players very far away, if they go for that and lose everything, you might as well start rolling out the red carpet for Furia, who's going to be able to march up to 15, 16 rounds pretty quickly. So, 5-round lead now for Furia. It's going to be 12-7.
I hate to disappoint the Naffers out there, but he has been slow so far in this major. He has not risen to the occasion, and the high skill ceiling we know that he has. And only 7 kills again today. See if he can turn that around now with the money that they'll have for the obvious save. Yesterday he did go 19-8 in the win against Ents. But he certainly hasn't had breakouts that we know he can. So we'll see if that changes. Case Serrato Naf nearly got away with one there as they tried to get him flashed in, but unfortunately he was spotted. Case Serrato with an AK instead. Drop will burn alive as Elige takes him down despite being dead already. The remaining Molotov was able to get the kill, but it's all onto Grim. That is an explosive take. K-Serato's on 24 kills right now.
Yeah, well, look, two things. Obviously, K-Serata going in through that smoke. I think it was Stewie was the one who passed by him into the smoke as well in front of half wall. Naf never had any idea. Stewie never had any idea. And this is why pros, in many reasons, really feel uncomfortable in best of ones. Because look at the way someone like K-Serata can just influence and dictate so much, having one game with the hot hand. 24 kills, and he's just battering Liquid in this map.
Just to throw the cat among the chickens as well. I know that's not the saying, but there was a chicken on screen. This is, again, a 1-on-1 game, and the 2-in-1 bracket is lethal. And right now, Heroic is up 10-2 over Astralis, which means they're going to be potentially 1-2, which, man, that's a tough position because we know they can rise. We saw them last week do it. So far, Heroic just absolutely battering them. And last night, I didn't think...
That would actually...
So, yeah. NiP destroyed them last night, but they weren't even in the game. Like, they weren't playing. I don't know what was going on. I thought they would come out swinging and be bitter about that, and now they're getting wrecked again by another rivalry. Both of their rivals are going to... That's ridiculous. That's actually incredible when you think about that. Both teams that they would have wanted to send a statement to just slaughtered them. That says something.
Back-to-back grudge matches.
I'm also going to be like 0-4 in my predictions today, and I was actually... I'm pretty sure I had the most right of anyone so far, so I just got wrecked. So, thanks, everyone.
Well, think about this one too, Matt. If Liquid go 1-2 and Astralis go 1-2, that rivalry has been well storied over the years. But usually, when both teams are at their peak competing for a championship, and it's been dominated by Astralis, now you would have like a diminished Astralis against Liquid in an elimination match.
That's less of a grudge match more than like an actual in-game rivalry. But you're right. There's definitely history between them.
No grudge match. It's just about the fact that they've just ran into each other so many times and historically been dominated by Astralis. And for Liquid to be sitting in a place where you'd have to overcome that kind of history, that kind of mental block for elimination at the major, maybe Naf is on the same wavelength as you, where he's felt a little bit outgunned, outmatched in this game because he's got the AWP over towards the B bomb site. Stewie rotating back to A as well. Furia is about to pick up the pace on this bomb site. It's only a matter of time. Stewie struggling through the smoke. He's going to go down. Oh, this is not looking good.
Era Pegasus cayendo Liquid.
They both need to deliver. Excuse me.
Ooh. They do need to deliver, but the fact that Elige get through the smoke, this is a problem because it could have gone both ways. It could have gone both ways, and that Elige could have surprised them and actually wrapped back into the site, but Art knew because Elige made noise that he had to come back through. Holds the angle and gets the headshot, and Elige was not set for it. Bombs planted safely inside. Now, Grim is still anchoring this position, which is a problem because they cannot leave the platform. They can't actually establish anything, but it's going to be an isolated position. Art knows he's peeking, and unfortunately, Grim did not leave pit.
Muy buena, vamos, Liquid, wow.
Grim gets the win, and finally, Liquid win another after, what was that? How many rounds, Jason?
No, it was a lot.
A lot. 9 rounds in a row. For Furia, they finally get one back in the winning column.
Yeah, that's something crazy. Yeah, no worries about Grim kind of leaving Naf out to dry with a little bit of a mistiming. As long as he wins the clutch, who cares? But that's a costly victory for Team Liquid. They are going to have the AWP. They're going to pass that back over. Again, it's going to remain in the hands of Naf towards the B bomb site. But they're playing on the edge of an economic cliff. No money behind this buy from Team Liquid. 13-8, Furia with a 5-round lead, just 3 rounds away from victory here on Inferno. They got to do it on hard mode as well. Furia's got plenty of money built up through this winning streak. If you're Liquid, you have to win at least 2 more rounds in a row before Furia's going to be feeling the sting of a lack of cash.
Molotov out to try and clear the top side of Banana. That will limit the position right now that it looked as though Fallen wanted to take. Interesting that Fallen's on the MP9 and Naf's on the op. Maybe they're just trying to get him going, right? This is the team play. Come on, Naf, you got this. Give him something. Let him change up his fortunes.
That's a tough shot.
Very tough shot.
He's hoping for a jiggle peek around that corner, and that's what he'd be going for. If K-Serata leads the way, wide swinging, going fast around the corner, man, that's gonna be a very, very difficult reaction shot to hit. Smoke is out. In fact, that's front of bomb site. Again, just trying to bait out some kind of a response, see what they're playing up against.
Still waiting for it. Not the jiggle peek. Couldn't hit it. Now he's smoked off. K-Serato's in. Over top of the oranges. Fallen has no chance on that at all.
Qué pechada está pegando el Liquid.
Gotta get away. Running down the wall is always risky. Bit linear.
Todas las rondas la dejaron entrar en el side, chabón. Qué locura.
Get out of there.
Qué locura.
14 for Furia. At least try and look for some exits and make sure that they get the information if they are going to chase this, but I don't think it's going to happen. Furia is playing a very disciplined game right now. I made a lot of mention of the fact that these are best of ones. Our best of threes start after this, and that will, of course, determine by the end of the day which of our two teams eliminated in this stage are. First two teams, that is, and which two teams will move forward.
Buenas, Nina. Hola, Nina. ¿Cómo andás? ¿Todo tranqui? Buenas. Gracias por los tapsitos. Se agradece bastante. ¿Qué onda? Buen día. Buen día, manita.
Hot damn. 8-14, 6-round lead, and a timeout called from Liquid. Yeah, I need to discuss something. Need to get back in the mood. And look, I mean, here's the reality of the situation. That's about the last time I think you can really save the weapons instead of going for a retake. So, you know, if you're Liquid, it's like.
No sé si les gusta el CSGO, pero es lo que a mí me gusta.
Maybe stop them from taking that B bomb site, maybe live or die by that kind of a battle instead of playing for a scenario where you can save the weapons, because you just can't. You can't expect that you're going to be able to rattle off 7 in a row if you let Furia get to 15. Tough scenario to be in for Team Liquid. Mentioned a couple times, just in case you guys didn't hear it, this is a 1-1 matchup, so whoever loses will not be eliminated from the Legends stage. And after this, it's best of threes for both squads for the rest of the way. Now with the nades and the Molotov as well that's thrown down, or rather incendiary, but there is a Molotov, it's thrown up against them as they each battle.
Esa Molotov,
Awkward situation to try and get Banana. The flash actually wins at the smoke extinguished. Stewie knew they were close, but now he's lost. Smoke criminal Stewie. Can he get away with this? 2 HP, not a chance. Although he
se lleva la baja. Naf, 1-1, no sabe que está busteado. ¡Ay, casi lo conecta! Casi lo conecta. 4 versus 3. Está complicadísimo esto. Muy complicado está esto.
Oh, this is scary though. If they attack back towards B into Fallen's position, there's a window of opportunity for Furia.
Qué linda bala. Art está tocadísimo. Naf también, pero Fallen tiene la P, se van acercando de a poquito. Tiene un acercamiento minucioso. Ahí tengo miedo, no sé lo que va a pasar. No sé lo que va a pasar. Puede pasar cualquier cosa. Fallen no conecta. No conecta Fallen. Le tiran un humo. No hay timing. Tampoco. Hay el spray. Hay el spray. Fallen sigue tocadísimo. Está muy tocado Fallen. 4 versus 4. Planta. Y esto tiene pinta de que Fallen puede llegar a morir. Está muy adelantado con la P.
Does mean he can be a little more confident in that situation, and whether or not he knows that, he's still going to hold his nerve and try and wait for this AWP to be relevant.
Estos son momentos de suma tensión,
Looking for map points. Fallen wants to try and get in. Grim's going to get the information.
No.
His aim's just not there.
No.
And Vinny does take Fallen on the peak. It's all down to Naf. And this is why you want Naf on staff to try and
GG para los chicos de Liquid. Qué mal, pero qué mal que jugaron. Siempre, pero siempre dejaron que entren a los sides. Hola Valentín, bienvenido, ¿todo tranqui? ¿Cómo va? Estamos acá viendo la Major. Padre, ¿cómo va? ¿Todo bien? Bienvenido. Perdón que no te leí, es que hay veces que no sale, viste, la leyenda. ¿Todo tranqui? ¿Cómo va? No sé si... ¿Cómo es esto? Se ve bien el directo, pero bueno. Va con un par de minutitos, segunditos de delay, Bienvenido, ¿qué onda? ¿Qué haces hoy a la mañana? Acá viendo como yo casteo ranciamente. Liquid se está cayendo a pedazos, amigo. Muy a pedacitos se está cayendo. Demasiado a pedazos para mi gusto.
Specific famous multi-kill that North Americans will not forget that Stewie once achieved from that position, but he was on and off.
La Major se está poniendo linda, También lo que se está cayendo a pedazos es acá nuestros compañeros de Astralis. Astralis 3-0 contra Heroic. Heroic hizo la peor, pero la peor, y pasó con la peor actividad desde aspirantes. Pero bueno, cosas que suceden. Creo que pasó con el 3-2 Heroic. Sí, en el 3-2 pasó Heroic. Heroic y Astralis pasaron con el 3-2 y ahora se están enfrentando ellos. Está complicadísimo, o sea, se vuelven a enfrentar. Es complicado esto en el 1-1. Ahora Astralis está 1-2-0. La realidad es que está en mejor posición que cuando inició en aspirantes. Muy buena, muy buena, muy buena. Sí, 2v2. Forza un 2v2. Pero Liquid hizo locuras. Obviamente es Major, puede pasar cualquier cosa. Nadie lo sabe, nunca lo sabremos.
Grim and that allowed Kisarado to get the information. They didn't take the shot, Vinny, but it's still not enough time to win them out the round. Elige with a good double, and now Liquid have a bit more hope as they get themselves into a 9th round. Crazy to think they had 6 rounds, 7 out of 8 at one point in this game, and we're in full control. It's just completely gone dead since then. And this still won't break the tees. Yuri's got a ton of money. I mean, I know he hasn't bought yet. Now he has. He sells $5,000.
Qué locura, qué locura. Qué lindo mapa Inferno, por favor,
Liquid's playing this game on Nightmare mode where you have to burn through so much of your opponent's cast.
So fitting on Halloween.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's Fright Night, baby.
I forgot that it's Halloween.
I know, we did. I'm not going to lie, everyone. We tried to get morph suits that were green so we could just be invisible in the green room.
Floating heads.
Yep, floating heads. And unfortunately, we're lazy and didn't actually execute on that.
Usually happens with these ideas.
I thought Jason was going to do it, to be honest. So it's your fault.
Yeah, I'll take it. It's all good. Well, Liquid's got the first. 6 more.
Liquid tiene que defender muy bien porque lo veo muy complicado, de verdad. Es muy complicado como la veo ahora.
Did seem like it was inevitably over a few rounds ago, but we're still finding ourselves alive in this. Flash in, Stewie looks the wrong direction and drop, gets the shot with the AK. It's fallen now. Sits back with an MP9. He's Molotov'd off the angle. Naf's the only one left with a rifle inside of the site, and he'll counter-smoke that of the one they put on the doorway. Drop has gone low. Naf gets him through the smoke, and he's tagged Kisarado as well. He won't know that, but 49 HP is significant. The problem is that Elige is on 12. Naf himself is on 54. So they'll boost Naf to try and get that M4 back into a powerful position.
That's kind of cool too, because Furia might believe he's in the bomb site. They might believe he shifted in. He was at Coffins. There's the SMG taking attention away. They're coming through the smoke though. They run right at him. Naf's got the kill.
Sí, Naf. Te lo llevas, Naf. Están shooteando al humo de una manera y están muy tocados los chicos de Furia. Grim, ay Grim, ay Grim, ay Grim. Ay, Grim, ¿dónde miraste, Grim? Qué lástima, les dio tiempo para rotar a todos los chicos de Furia. Qué un lucky terrible. Qué lástima. Yuri está clavando mira y se lleva Fallen y se lleva Naf. Elish contra 3. AP en medio. Y GG. GG para los chicos de Furia. GG para los chicos de Liquid. y un mal GG para los chicos de Liquid, ya que Furia gana su partido y están ahora 2-1. 2-1 para Furia. Perfecto. Vamos a pasar ahora al partido de Astralis. Que bueno, Astralis recuperó un par de rondas, pero otra vez el 16-6 se acerca nuevamente. Traumas del 16-6. Dupri. Zipex. Qué mal nivel que está teniendo Astralis verdaderamente, Muy mal nivel está teniendo.
Just to note as well, Drop has been someone that's been kind of talked about and maybe under the microscope a little bit, certainly has the Brazilian pressure on him and the fact that he's coming into this roster in that what I call the revolving door of a 5th position, and had a reasonably good game. 16-16, nothing incredible, but definitely held his own in duels, even at the end there, taking down Stewie on the peak at Banana and keeping them in that keeping them in control of that.
Potentially to take
bien por Furia,
This time there's more utility for Heroic. Shush may have some sound cues from Lucky touching those flames, but needs to be real careful about trying to bait this shot here. We've got a flash on the way, and surely Glaver's going to get a kill. Well, there'll be a trade at the very least, and that's even better from Lucky. 4 versus 2 now.
Muy
The trades
lindas
will
bajas
continue
ahora,
in
Astralis.
Astralis' favor. Refresh with a very tight angle now. 1 versus 2, but
Bueno,
running out
Defuse.
of position. Astralis survive another test.
Astralis viene con el comeback.
Close one.
¿Es real esto?
Oh, where's a smile?
¿Es real, bro?
There's a smirk. There was something. It was a close one, and you know these are the moments too when you remember your achievements. You remember that you've won, you know, countless tournaments, that you've come back from countless dire situations, which they have again as a core, that they have achieved that. So that's the thing is that, you know, no matter how bad it looks, it's not over till it's over, and they're on the CT side here. Heroic, you know, going for the half buy, might see something similar to that A round, but now on B instead. They know that the AWP is playing this position as well, so if it's one whiffed shot by Lucky, that's a huge edge for these pistols.
And again, they swarm onto the site. They have some post-plant smokes. They can kill some time here. That is a very important one. Need to avoid some spray though. Cadian on the AWP. This could be the round. Down goes Magisk. That's 2 in the bag, and it gets even more difficult for Astralis trying to make a play through the smoke now. Cadian finds the third one. Zipex and
una
Dupri remain.
locura, Cadian.
2 versus 5 to stay alive in this 1-1 situation. Now it's down to Zipex, and we've reached the end of the line in this game for Astralis. Heroic moved to 2-1. As for Astralis, the road gets more arduous, more difficult and longer.
Heroic se lleva el 2-1.
I mean, they're obviously so happy with that one. They dominated Astralis. You know, there were some rounds won at the end, but in reality, that was not a close game at all. You know, Astralis struggled so desperately, and we're really seeing them crack in a lot of these games. It's very difficult to kind of see. But Heroic, what's really cool is that last round, they isolated precisely the setup that Astralis were playing. They're like, well, they only have an AWPer at the back of the site. If we just rush him down with pistols, obviously that's a good approach. And so Heroic have been making great decisions. They've got great clutch behind the individuals, and they've got a synergy and kind of team spirit that right now is in a great place. And all of those things is the opposite for Astralis.
Yeah, despite the score, I think it was a very entertaining game of Counter-Strike. As soon as I saw it was Ancient, I knew Astralis were going to be in all kinds of trouble.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think maybe you could give them the benefit of the doubt versus NIP, because Device will know most of what they're probably trying to bring into that game. But we can see that it may be more of a question of form here, as they are dominated, completely dominated by Heroic. But I did expect that. I just think that the map choice just wasn't a good start for them in the first place. Maybe they had a plan. Again, we didn't know the data with their 4 matches played of late, but they had to have more than that in the pocket. But those pockets were just ripped off their jeans, man, by the like of Heroic, who controlled the match for the most part.
Yeah. Yeah, and if anybody's like, I mean, the thing about Heroic now with Ancient is that I feel like from the 2-3 games that we have casted of theirs and just watching them in general, a lot of their setups, their CT side setups now are pretty established. So if you're picking into them later on in the tournament or playing the best of 3s, Ancient might not be a bad look for certain teams, just because the CD setups of Heroic are pretty established now in terms of the demos, the tape that exists. So, you know, that's the one disadvantage of how powerful this map has been for Heroic so far. It's just that they've shown a lot on it. But with that said, you know, if it gets you deep in the tournament, then that's totally fine, of course. And so far, so good for Heroic. As, again, you don't have them on your pick'ems, I don't have them on my pick'ems either. We had to make sacrifices, man.
I didn't have them on my pick'ems, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I didn't think they were going to qualify. I just thought they were more reliable choices, and all I care about is getting that coin.
Just getting through to the next phase.
Making the picks to get the coin is what I'm about. Not picking, you know, whatever.
Yeah, no, I get what you mean,
Which is why Na'Vi's not in a 3-0 for me. They're just down below because they're surely going to qualify. But anyway, that is a huge game in the bag for Heroic, and it really keeps them in a much better position now. 2-1, one game away from qualifying. Speaking of, we have Vitality versus EG to fight for survival. That is going to be a best-of-3 game. That is our next game, and that's coming after a break. So don't go too far away. We'll see you back here for more carnage from PGL Major 2021.
Your favorites will play soon. You hope for the win. Excited about the game. But something has changed. You start to doubt. Will they pull it off? Or will they drift away? You pull yourself together. Because you're sure they're revved up to win. You know they've prepared. They've picked the right course. And even when there's no chance, you believe they will win. GG Bet. Be excited.
Hola, streamer. Hola, Capitán Toxic, ¿todo tranqui? ¿Qué onda? ¿Todo bien? ¿Qué se cuenta? Acá estoy esperando el partido de Vitality y Evil Genius porque necesito que pase Vitality y que pierda Evil Genius. Así nomás te lo digo. Necesito literalmente el 3-0 de Evil Genius por mi piquen. ¿Cómo andas? ¿Qué onda? Buen día. Buen día, manito. Buen día. ¿Qué se cuenta? Avísame si se escucha bien porque te digo la verdad, estuve transmitiendo y casteando todo y creo que no había nadie. Pajita. Contame qué onda. ¿Qué onda, güey? Ya tengo que comprobar a ver si funciona a veces el chat porque medio que se me cuelga el internet, ¿viste? Así son las cosas. ¿Qué ondas? ¿Qué ondas, maldita perra? Estaba tratando de comprar un juego en Steam mientras estoy esperando a que empiece el partido porque necesito acertar los piquen. Horrible este juego. ¿Qué haces hasta ahora levantado? Más que nada, ¿qué hacen? Quiero saberlo. Yo, enloquecido mirando la mail. 8 minutitos. Lo bueno es que ahora se viene el BO3, o sea, 3 partidos vamos a ver. Al mejor de 2. El mejor de 3 quiero decir. El que gana 3 partidas, 3 mapas, gana. O sea, si gana 1 o 2 mapas, ya está, GG. Es bueno eso, me gusta.
Rodri7 ha dicho @Everayone nuevamente voy a
No sé quién está dando tapsitos, pero gracias, Se agradece bastante. Alguien se quedó ahí tapeando. Se agradece bastante, posta. De verdad se los digo.
Welcome back
Mientras tanto,
to the PGL
vamos a
Major.
ver
We're here on the B
los
stream. We're about to
picking que
do
están
a
haciendo.
0-2-0-2 matchup.
Chicos,
Vitality, crazy that they're here, but they're against
ya realizaron los
Evil
pickings.
Geniuses. And it's not crazy that they're here.
Ingenious y
On the
Vitality,
way out as
así que eso sí me sirve, chiquito.
I didn't even make notes for this matchup because normally I'll at least put the teams and the map percentages and so on because it's nice to see with regards to the veto. But at this point, we don't even there isn't really any data for Evil Geniuses to look at, and it's been a deflated balloon. It's been very underwhelming what we've seen from them so far. And you could argue the same for Vitality because there were plenty more expectations. At least with EG, people didn't expect much and they haven't got much. With Vitality, people have expected a lot and haven't got much. So they surely can't lose this one.
Yeah, and with Vitality, I do see them coming back into the tournament. I think they've had a slow start. Of course, yesterday they had that. What was the game we casted of Vitality's? I'm just totally blanking right now. But effectively on Inferno, they struggled to get going at the right times, and you could see that from the players. They're like, we feel it. We just are a little bit slow right now. And so
wow.
I would not be surprised to see Vitality crush this and to really come back into the tournament, because I don't see Vitality not qualifying, James, even though they're kind of in this 0-2 spot. I don't see them not winning 3 games now.
Odds like this at the legend stage of a major, is bizarre.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's very bizarre. 1.09.
I mean, I made the joke on Twitter that EG, have the 0-3 in the logo, and it's written in stone. It's meant to be. It's kind of sad because we have some. It's just the nature of how we hadn't had a major in the last 2 years. So there's some of these leftovers rosters and so on, and EG is kind of, I guess, the most extreme example of this. And we're in best of 3 territory. So again, it's another huge plus for Vitality, because they've been falling victim to the slow starts in best of 1.
Inferno,
a ver qué mapa pidieron.
And Dust 2 will be the battleground for this
a ver,
series.
los mapas, importante. Inferno, Evil Genius, Vertigo Vitality, Mirage Vitality. Y las dos quedó para... Perdón, Inferno para Evil Genius. Vitality quiere Vértigo. Me parece perfecto porque es un hermoso mapa. Y 2-2 creo que va a ser el que va a finalizar. En todo caso que quede en el 2-2.
Their T sides were awful. It was extremely one-dimensional. They were just waiting around until 20 seconds. They weren't taking map control. They weren't poking or prodding. They weren't being active at all. It just really seems very one-dimensional. And I hope that doesn't represent the rest of their T sides.
Yeah. Here we see Vitality, who need to sort themselves out, I think it's fair to say, because it has been extremely underwhelming thus far, but it's not too late. But this
Vitality va a iniciar del lado CT en Inferno, piqueado por Evil Genius. Okay.
And for EG as well, I think that the players, at this point, are they playing just to avoid an embarrassing exit? You want to make, if an exit's going to happen, if they themselves don't truly believe that they would make it to the next stage, to the playoff stage, and the new Legends phase, you at least need to try to go out with as high stock value as you possibly can as players and as a lineup. And that's, I think, what they're really fighting for here. There's lots of players that have incredible skill on this team, but unfortunately, so far we don't see it be the case that the team is greater than the sum of its parts.
Before EG's first game, I saw them on camera before we went live, and they mostly look to be in good spirits. Obo is happy and smiling and so on. We can see Daps, who's behind them, come back from that Sheriff game. But there are no smiles now. They've had terrible performances, and I know that some of these players on the team from North America have, they've had to be in Europe for a very long time. They've been far from home for a very long time, and that's not for everybody. Like we saw Blamef recently released from Complexity, and he said, I will play CS for anyone, anywhere. He just wants to play. He doesn't matter if he has to travel, if he has to be away from home, it doesn't matter. But it's been, especially in this COVID era, people have had to be in Europe for an extremely long time. It's been difficult to go back and forth. It's been difficult to go back and forth, and they've been stuck out here. And I think that's led to some unhappiness on some of the players. We saw certain players taking breaks and so on. And I thought, hey, with a break, maybe you come back refreshed. But if it's more of the same, which it is, because not much has changed, then perhaps they're back in that unhappy place. But we begin. Vitality will be on the T side to start with on Inferno. It's the CT side, sorry.
And it's a great side for them to start off on. We'll see if EG can kind of get that early control, though. W against 2 players here, moving into this A-bomb site. With that said, though, Vitality are on an information gathering investigation towards the banana position, so they're going to get the back of this push, and they're already going to be sandwiching this one.
Well, Apex with 2 kills so far. Kyojin's going to say hello, and that one will be shut down very quickly. I don't like the stats when EG lose pistols. Looking at their matches, I don't like the stats when EG win pistols either. But this is the worst of the 2 to start off with on this first map.
Yeah. And, we saw again previously when, Vitality were playing that, slow start for sure, but at the same time, when they do get going, they are looking good. And, this is going to help them get going more quickly because, they get the success of the pistol. If they're going to be against full Glocks here, it's hard to see this round converted by EG. So as long as Vitality keep things within acceptable losses, they're going to be able to begin to dictate the way that this map is played. Ooh, big nade. Lots of chip damage there. Oh my god, even more. And there we go. They're all going to fall.
Well, that's unfortunate. Again, especially on Inferno, in rare cases, we'll see an ecoing team just run into a Molotov to limit the loss bonus. They get maims